It's 3 a.m. Someone's at my door, who can it be?
Oh my god.
It's one of my multiple personalities. It had to be the one who always wants to challenge me. Get me to rally in this spree of destruction and calamity. Demanded me to follow him into the woods, to meet up with 13 extraterrestrials and Bigfoot. This isn't good, I'd run away if I could, but my other personalities are telling me I should. Go with him, hop in the car, I'm sitting shy. Shortly after, we're stopped by members of the Illuminati, wanting me to join them for fame and riches galore. But the spotlight's really on them. Attention whores.
And welcome to another edition of Attention Horrors. I am your host with the most, Donald Wood. Ooh, Mike Chiari, you're also here.
Yeah, I'm a little scared. Is that the point?
Yeah, you're going to get real scared.
I don't think it's the right kind of scared.
Yeah,
Really Macho Man.
Brandon, you thought Brandon Galvin thought.
Yeah, it's Attention Horrors.
Oh yeah. Ever heard of Albert Fish? Oh, that's disgusting. Yeah. It's going to get fucking gross today, guys. I am sorry in advance for everything that's about to happen. I'm going to apologize to Mike Chiari for ever calling you Albert Fish, because no one on
that
this...
was really mean in retrospect. Now that I know everything.
Dude, all the research I did in this, I just was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry I did that to him. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have. Jesus, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, because as the more and more I did research, I was like, man, Mike seems like an okay guy. He paid for that Uber when I ditched him. You know what I mean?
Very
he did
true.
that. You know what I mean? He did that for me.
Albert Fish wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, no, he would have
cut the guy's dick off.
Yeah, it would have been a much different. He would have preferred no tip. Oh, he also took the tip. Oh. You think if that's bad, turn back now, because it's only going to get worse. Remember the John Wayne Gacy episode where we had a serious reading moment? We got two of them these next two episodes, so be ready. There's also a letter that Mike Chiari messaged me and said he had so much fun reading.
There's one fun letter.
There's two letters that are literally the most disgusting thing I've ever read and have changed me as a person, and one made me giggle like a child. So, you know, it's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag. And if you haven't figured it out by now, we are talking about Albert Fish for the next two episodes. But tonight, we start off with the making of a monster. But we have some books to talk about. I read two books about this motherfucker, and I regret every minute I spent doing so. Deranged, the shocking true story of America's most fiendish killer by Harold Schechter, who's quickly becoming my favorite true crime author.
We always got this guy.
Yeah, he's so good. These books are so much fun to read.
It's Donnie's hero.
Yep, the Sheck Man.
If you look at a picture if you Google him and look at a picture, he is like the ultimate like school teacher, like from the 80s. He's got like he's the coolest. He's like if Fonzie was a school teacher. Albert Fish, in his own words, the Kindle edition. I got it on my fucking. If I ever lose this Kindle.
Is that different from a normal edition besides being on a Kindle?
No, it's just fucking on a Kindle.
Just needed to be written that way.
Because I have to say I'm using my tablet more.
We're trying to get a sponsor.
Yeah.
Kindles. I don't know if Kindle has money to be just throwing around right now.
It's Amazon.
Well, but
Amazon
Kindle
has
itself is not even so hot.
Amazon literally has all the money in the world. So
not
because
of Kindle.
No, the Kindle's the Nook. It's the Kindle and the Nook. Also, the Albert Fish documentary from 2007 by John Borowski, and plenty of internet articles and YouTube videos that have definitely gotten me flagged. And Wiki as well. Wiki's a perennial appearance, because I always go back to like, what date was that? Oh my god, it's a penis. It's just rough. It's just rough sometimes. But you know what, Mike? Because I struggle with the talkins, I'm gonna let you take over the platform, not because you're anything like Albert Fish.
Good.
In his own words.
In his own words. Here we go.
All right, we're introducing a monster. Hamilton Howard Albert Fish was an American serial killer, child molester, and cannibal who terrorized his way across at least 23 states during the early 1900s before being caught and convicted for the murder of Grace Budd in 1935. Okay. I must say, getting across 23 states in those days, it's no small feat.
Yeah. No, not at all. But hey, when you're running from the law, you find a way, Mike. You find a way. Also, put yourself in this time. You're now in the early 1900s. So,
Is it the Roaring Twenties?
the Roaring Twenties, baby. That's part of it. Yeah, he murders a lot of the Roaring Twenties. Were fucking roaring for him. That's for damn sure. But he's a monster from the. We're leading into the Depression, and you know, it's a wild time in America, man. The gangsters are still running loose. East Side, West Side.
I gotta say, Don, I think that was the best intro you've ever written.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
The newspapers dubbed him the Gray Man, Mr. Grayman, the Werewolf of Wisteria, the Brooklyn Vampire, the Moon Maniac,
that
and the
one.
Boogeyman, all of which fail to capture just how fucked up this dude was.
Yes, those are some of the coolest nicknames. They are like that's like a wrestling stable from the 80s in like AWA. But it's not even close to how fucked up this. They're fun sounding. He's not fun. He needs to be like the dirty piece of shit murderer. Like it just needs to be it needs to be on the nose with this guy.
Fish admitted to police that he killed at least 3 children, stabbed at least 2 more, and I quote, had children in every state. Whatever the fuck that means.
Yeah, what? What do you mean? He's just like,
I got hose.
yeah.
Police believed he molested well over 100 children and murdered at least 15
So
more.
that comes from. So this case ended up going with appeals to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court documents are sealed, most of them, and with this, there was a part where the guy, one of the what do you call them? The jurors.
One of those guys.
What do they call
The
them?
guy.
What do
That
you call-
freaking guy.
What do you call the guys on the Supreme Court? Jurors?
Justice?
Justice.
The old
Basically,
Supreme Court juror.
juror. I don't know. I couldn't think of the word, dude. I was thinking judge, but I knew it wasn't
We
right.
should do a fucking courtroom podcast. Everything
Honestly,
would be wrong.
It would be, yeah, like you,
Start with a
defendant.
J, though.
It's like, I'm the prosecutor. You're a prosecutor, huh? I don't know nothing.
Prostituter.
This comes from the justice who saw it, and he's like, he killed at least 15. And just like,
I don't know.
I couldn't say numbers,
I
and
feel
just
like-
at least 15, he said.
As we'll learn, this dude was pretty fucking proud of what he did, so I feel like if he killed 15 more, wouldn't he tell people he killed 15 more?
But they had to pull the fucking shit they got out of him, and the only reason he admitted to a couple of things was after he got convicted to death, after he was sentenced to death. So,
Convicted
we'll
to
get
death.
into it. We'll get into it.
Convicted to death.
Convicted
Now
to-
that's the
listen.
title of the book.
Convicted to death. Listen, don't
Might
do this
as
to me.
well face it, you're convicted to death.
Ah, you're a piece of shit. Why do you do this to me? You make me look like an asshole. Good.
When asked how he chose his victims, he claimed he preyed on the mentally handicapped and African Americans, saying people would care less if they went missing.
Yikes, dude.
Yikes.
Okay, if you have that thought in anything you do in life, you are the bad guy. You're immediately the bad guy.
Now you apologize to me again.
I'm super sorry I ever called you Albert Fish, Mike Chiari. It's not true. I hope.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
just always leave that I hope in there.
We got a super important note here.
Yes.
Most of the episode's going to take place in New York City, so we're going to have a heavy accent. Listener discretion be freaking advised, bro.
Yes, both Mike Chiari and myself and Brandon Galvin just innately will have thick New York accents throughout this entire episode.
Didn't have to work at it.
I don't
Hey,
hear
you
it.
freaking guy, what's the matter with you? Peaches like, I don't see nothing wrong with what he's saying. It says, is that like weird? It's like music to my
Must be
fucking
a
ears.
problem with your fucking ear.
Yo, you should go to a fucking ear doctor. Fucking asshole. All right. But yes, we're going to make light of some of this, and then we're going to get deadly serious at other moments. And you will know it because of the fear in my voice.
Kind of nervous.
Yeah, you should be.
I'm very nervous.
Yeah, you both should
I
be.
know nothing.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
I know a lot. I know too much.
Yeah.
Building a monster. Fish was born on May 19th, 1870, in Washington, D.C., to a family known to be of high class. His father, Randall, was 43
fine
years
name.
old.
Hey, what?
fine
It's his
name.
fault.
I don't know
Still
why you
got
would
his
name
fault.
it random. Go ahead.
He was 43 years older than his mother, Ellen, and 75 years old at the time Hamilton was born.
Wow. That's not a.
Fuck you, Hefner, over here.
Yeah, it's very late in his life. And his father also nicknamed him Stick in the Mud. So He was 6 when his dad died. So what did he do in the first 6 years of his life that
Hey,
just got
my
him?
3-year-old son, you little fucking stick in the
Yo,
mud.
what are you being? You're being a real stick in the mud, dude. It's like, I'm 5. Fuck you. You know what I
Is
mean?
this the part where we blame his parents for why he became a serial killer?
Well, yeah, there is
My
definitely
favorite part of every episode.
There is definitely a part of that we have to get into. Yes.
When Fish's brother Albert died of water on the brain.
Yeah, I
It
don't-
sounds like Operation.
It does sound like getting a bucket of water from his brain. That's so fucked up. So many poor like kids died, and you're just like, eh.
Fish started going by the name Albert to avoid being called Ham and Eggs.
Because his name was
which a name-
Hamilton, and he was in a fucking home, and they called him Ham and Eggs.
Oh my god.
Yo,
It was
you
a
free?
name-
Oh, your name? Yo, you're Hamilton? No. Now you're Ham and Eggs, bro.
That's
I
a
don't
pretty
see anything
creative
wrong
one.
with that.
Props to those kids.
It was a name he earned at the orphanage, where his mother left him following Randall's death.
So Randall dies when he's 6, and he goes to this orphanage where he says he is just, it's just so fucked up. All the kids are treated like total shit. It's the description from him of this place is very similar to descriptions of places like this during this time period from everyone. And guess what? It was really fucking horrible.
Little orphan Albie over here.
Oh, could you just imagine as like they're doing the play, like, look at me, I'll kill you, bitch. It's like this play took a weird turn.
It was at St. John's Orphanage in Washington where the seeds were planted for Fish to become a monster. He was frequently abused, but he started to enjoy the physical pain and watching pain be inflicted upon others.
So
oh
one
boy.
one thing
Nice.
that he said was they'd line up the boys, 6 boys deep, right, all naked, and the lady who ran the place would come in and smack all of their asses with a paddle, right? And at some point, it turned for Albert Fish, and he started enjoying it. And the other boys noticed him enjoying it. They did not take kindly to him getting his ass paddled and then be like, yeah, slap his ass harder. Yeah, I like
He
that
was
shit,
asking
huh?
for more.
Yeah, he was. And it's honestly, this is where the fucking BDSM shit starts. Could have taken a turn, but it gets really fucked up.
How old is he here?
We'll find out when she fucking picks him up at 12. She left him there for 6 years, dude. Just 6 to 12. She's just like, you're gonna be in this orphanage now until I find a job. 6 years to
I
find
like
a job.
that back then you were allowed to do that. Just like, I'll put him on layaway, but
Yeah,
I'll be
put
back.
a kid on late. Well, because you
Don't
had
worry
8
about
of them.
When his mother finally came to get him from the orphanage after 6 years in 1882, he started hooking up with a telegraph boy who taught him the joys of drinking piss and eating shit.
Would you call
Wow.
them Joys, Mike? Would you call them Joys?
Aleister Crowley would.
You're damn right he would. Aleister Crowley's like, I like his style.
He also began visiting public baths, a la fucking Dahmer, to watch the other boys undress.
There's a lot of common threads I'm seeing with some of these guys. So if
Mm-hmm.
you're one of your friends has a lot of these threads, go get them. Go self-arrest them.
Threads.
Self-arrest.
Cut that thread. Real
No.
quick.
Yeah, definitely that part too. After he pays for pizza.
In 1890, Fish moved to New York frickin' City.
New York, New York.
He became a painter and a prostitute, a Renaissance man of sorts.
But no, you think, and everybody was like, oh, he's a painter, like he's a regular Vincent Van Gogh. No, he
I
just
thought, like,
painted
a
buildings.
wall.
He was a fucking
Yeah.
outdoor building fucking painter. He had no talent at all.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's disappointing.
He just said, yo, I'm gonna slap the paintbrush at the outside of this building for like 4 hours till I see a kid. Is that cool? It's like, sure, whatever. I'm paying you $1. Do it.
He said this was around the time he began raping young boys, preferably 6 years old or younger.
No!
Oh.
No!
Mm-mm.
Okay, and also, let's do some fucking math right now. If he became a fucking child molester in 1890 and he was arrested in 1935, that means for 45 years, this motherfucker molested children all across the country.
Wow, that's impressive math.
Okay? I had to use a calculator, but you know
Mm-hmm.
what? Also,
Did you do
I
it correctly?
never want to do that math.
Did you graph
ever
it?
again? No, I fucking as soon as I threw the calculator down, I was like I couldn't even write boobs upside down. I was so tore up.
You could always write boobs upside down.
Okay, you're right.
Don't lie.
Hey, was it 8,005 or whatever? It's like 8,085 or 80,000. I don't know. Whatever it was.
Fish was a painter and focused on schools, mental hospitals, churches, and other places with children who were vulnerable.
Oh my God, he's like a villain. He's like a monster in a fucking movie.
He would do that with his mustache.
No, we'll
sure.
talk about how he laughs later on in the fucking show, but he's even got a dumb laugh.
He would set up in basements, wear overalls with no clothes underneath, and groom children before leaving town to avoid getting caught.
I feel like it's telling.
Who doesn't
when
wear
he's-
overalls with nothing underneath?
I was about to say, your overalls laugh right there is just like haunting to me. Like, you're like, I do not see the issue. Yes, it does chafe in the summertime, but denim on your dick feels good.
This makes me think of Hillbilly Jim.
No! Him just setting up in a basement like, I'm getting ready for my match. Why, you want to see my toolkit? And he's just like, no, get away from me.
Hall of Famer. Fish was part of an arranged marriage in 1898 to Anna Mary Hoffman, and the couple had 6 children: Albert Jr., Anna, good old Gertrude,
That's such an old name.
Eugene, John, and Henry. In 1903, he was arrested for grand larceny and spent time in Sing Sing, where he would eventually die years later.
It's full circle. We talk about these people. Most of these guys have lifelong criminal history. So he's in and out of jail, and he's been arrested several times, and now it's getting more and more serious. Even though he's getting married, but Anna Mary Hoffman, the grandmother of Matt Hoffman.
Trevor Hoffman.
No, neither of those are real. Go ahead. Go ahead.
In 1910, Fish was working in Wilmington,
Oh, here
Delaware.
we go. It's starting to get fucked up. I actually had to move myself in the chair because I'm uncomfortable already.
Wait, so
This is, by the way, this is it. This is PG. This is where the cut your dick stuff starts. So be ready for this.
he's
Mhm.
now out of New York.
No,
Yeah.
he's
For now.
he's been in. New York becomes his central.
He's in and
base.
out of New York and a lot of other things at this point.
Well, no, don't say that. Stop that. That's not funny.
Saying.
He basically, BG, he will go work in a city, molest a kid, finish a job, and then come back to New York. New York
Gotcha.
becomes his
Okay.
home base, and he just
Got it.
goes and does jobs in other parts of the country.
So he's working the territories at
He
this
is.
point.
He's working the mental hospital painting territories. I don't know.
Gotcha. Fish was working in Wilmington, Delaware when he met a 19-year-old man with mental problems named Thomas Kedden. He took the man to his apartment, tortured him as part of his sadomasochistic fetishes, and he eventually attempted to cut his dick off.
Ugh.
Whoa.
But his screams and look of pain forced Fish to stop halfway through.
No!
Oh!
No!
Fish allegedly... Okay.
This
Poured
is what he's-
peroxide over
This
the
is
wound.
from him. Hold on. This is
Oh.
when these are quotes. These are from him because I read the book from his confessions. So I said this is him saying this. So say it like Vince Russo.
Bro, I freaking poured peroxide over the freaking wound. I wrapped it in a freaking Vaseline covered handkerchief, and I left a freaking $10 bill, and then I freaking kissed Kedden goodbye, and I freaking left, bro.
No! No. And I said I've been on worse dates, but that's not true. That seems like the worst date. Also, BG, can
God.
you go to like what's it called? What's it called when you translate currency from old times to now? Like
Inflation?
Inflation calculator. Yes. Please go on there and just see what $10 in 1910 to now would be. That's how
I'm
much.
sorry I almost cut your dick off. Here's $10.
Yeah, but what is
Mwah.
it now? Just what is it now? Just to see if it's even. It's never better. For the record, it's never better. But like, I'm sitting there with my dick half cut off, covered in peroxide and Vaseline. I'm getting kissed goodbye, and I look over, and how much money do I see, BG? That's where you
Not
should.
enough. Not enough.
Not
bro.
enough is that?
$265.
No, not enough. I thought maybe $10 then now would be like $1 million, but I don't know
Nope,
numbers. But it's
This is like the inverted like Derek Jeter like gift basket.
Yes, that's a really good analogy. Let's get as much Yankees references in here as we can.
Hey, we're
it's
in
New
New
York, brother. Yo, you can't go a fucking sentence without fucking saying "Go Yanks." Go ahead.
Do you think Albert Fish frequented Yankee Stadium during this time?
He's
Too
like,
crowded. Too crowded.
holy shit! Look at all the kids, huh? Come over here. Let's fucking play sit on my lap.
Let's play baseball.
God.
After taking in a boarder named John Straub in 1917, Fish's wife left him and the children. At one point, she came back and hid John in the attic before leaving again.
Yeah, so I mean, honestly,
Was she banging John on the side? Is what we're probably assuming here.
Well, she fucked him and left with him. Took all the furniture, so they all came home from school, and he came home from work, and there was nothing left in the house. About 6 months later, she came back. They had sold the furniture, and they came back, and he let her back in. Albert Fish let her back in, and then what she did was she then snuck John Straub into the attic. Fucking Fish found him up there, and then fucking said, "We could work this out, but he's got to go." And she said, "Nah, I'm going with him."
Good move on her part, I guess.
Yeah.
She had 6 kids that she left there too, so she's a piece of shit too.
Well,
Take the kids, but honestly though,
also
they
a
say
piece
it
of shit
over and
for
over again,
marrying
and we're gonna
Albert
talk
Fish.
about it right now. The kids fucking loved him. They defended him till the end. He was good. He was a good dad to them.
well,
Did he do anything to the kids?
No, not one of them.
Interesting.
that we know of.
That we know. Every one of them was interviewed. Oh, okay, again, but every one of them was interviewed, and they all admitted they saw some fucked up shit from him. But they all said he was a great dad, very defensive of them, and he fucking went to bat for all of them and shit like that.
Oh, what a guy.
Yep, he's
Never beat him. But go ahead.
Father of
just-
the year.
Okay,
Stand up
take
father.
it easy. Take it easy. I'm saying there's a redeeming quality according to his.
He's
children.
number one dad, like
Ah,
Maury
but
Seinfeld.
It's number one dad, but it's on like the skull of a child. It's like, oh, that's cute. Thanks, dude. That's awesome.
Yikes. As a single father, Fish was reportedly great to his own children, who defended his character to the end, but admitted there were some weird incidents during their lives, including
Let's get into this.
Hey.
These are just some things that I'm gonna. This will give you a little taste of what Albert Fish was like as a person. But what's
Wait,
up?
do you ever learn what happened to Keaton?
He
his-
survived, and half of his dick was cut.
he had a half a dick.
Yeah.
Okay.
Believe it or
So-
not, he didn't go on to fucking talk a lot about it. PG.
Didn't go on to great
Never know.
stardom in life either.
I didn't know if like there was like testimonies.
Yeah,
or
his
not.
name is actually now is Tom Cruise. You didn't know that, did you?
Mission
His name
Impossible.
is John Wayne Bobbitt.
Yeah, the OG.
Anna finding him wrapped in the carpet and doing so because John the Apostle told him to.
So remember when you'd wrap yourself in like a blanket and you'd like lay there like a human burrito? Like
No.
he did that in a rug as an adult, and he said John the Apostle. Oh, sorry, John the Apostle told me to do it. Anna.
Well, to be fair, that's how a lot of gangsters in New York would throw away their
Yep.
killed people.
That's true.
Just wrap them up in a carpet, throw it in the
Well,
fucking river.
it's bloody anyway.
The hell? His son Albert Jr., with whom he spent many years living with, told police after Fish's arrest that his father would get a wild look in his eyes when the moon was full and make his children eat raw meat with him.
Okay, so now this is the second
Whoa.
time we've heard these dudes making fucking full.
He's a
moon-
werewolf. Maybe
Well,
that's why.
Who else did it? Geen. Didn't Geen do it too? He played the drum
know.
outside, remember?
Oh yeah, that's true. He did his rituals.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, like, fucking, is there really something about, because they've always said that. They've always said that full moons bring out the weirdness in people. People at mental asylums say, like, when the moon is full, like, shit goes ape shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna believe.
I believe him with every fiber of my being.
Yeah. Why not?
Albert Jr. also came home one day to find his father jerking off and slapping his ass with a wooden paddle filled with nails.
Oh my god.
Yes.
With
Now-
nails.
now
And
just
then he
no,
went
stop.
to bat for his dad.
Listen, just now, I want everyone at home to do this. Imagine your dad, dick out in
No!
his hand, jerking off, and then smacking himself and screaming as blood drips down his ass and the back of his legs.
Oh my god.
Now just imagine your dad on Christmas, like reaching over, just shaking his head. He's like, "Daddy, Daddy, can I have my fucking Power Ranger now?" And he's just like, "Ooh, ooh, ah!" God.
What the fuck? He slapped himself and cried out in pain as blood ran down his legs. When confronted about the paddles, Fish told his son, I get these freaking feelings that come over me, bro. And every time they freaking do, I have to freaking torture myself with those paddles, bro.
Jesus. I would prefer not even knowing. I'd be like, that's even worse than what I
Yeah,
thought
right?
it could have been.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I just would not ask. I would just leave the room, and then
Yeah.
next time I see him,
Turn
act like
right
nothing
I would
happened.
go burn
Like
my
the
eyes
Simpsons
out.
skit.
I would go
Yeah.
gouge my own eyes out if I had to watch my dad doing that. If I just walked in on my dad jerking off, I'd be fucked up for the rest of my life.
It gets worse.
Just thinking about it fucks me up.
It gets worse than that,
Yeah.
believe it or not. Fish was found one day with a rose jammed into his urethra.
That's the dick hole.
Yep. After dancing around in the mirror, he ate the rose. Why waste it?
Yeah, I honestly, Daniel Bryan would be like,
Which one found
Good.
him like this?
"What? I don't know. I didn't fucking.
Oh.
Can I say something? I wasn't keeping fucking deets at that point because I was too fucked up mentally, thinking of
You're
the idea of a
shitty.
fucking thorn-covered rose jammed in the tip of my dick, dude.
Hmm.
I had a meme moment in that moment.
Well, his children reported in 1922 that Fish was seen shouting, "I am Christ!" behind their house while they played football.
Just again, take yourself
Throwing the pigskin around.
Take yourself back to when you were a kid. All the neighbor kids were playing together, and you had like a little pickup game of football going, and your dad just like on the deck. I am Christ. It's like, what? What's your dad saying up there? Like, don't worry about it. Just ignore
That's
him.
not my dad. That's not. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I don't know that guy.
Dad, we just stopped talking about how you Christ again.
You embarrass me so much.
He's like, St. John the Apostle said I would do that. I'm sorry, Albert Jr.
While living with his father, Albert Jr. reported hearing his father wake up in the middle of the night screaming the name Grace Budd.
Oh, no. Okay, well, it was in the newspaper, so maybe he just read an article and it really fucked him up. That's what his son said he thought. So.
Nope. He did it.
Yeah, that's just a bit outside on that one.
It was at this time that he moved his family to Greenburgh, New York, around a block away from a building known to locals as Wisteria Cottage.
Remember this because this is super important. They didn't live there very long, but he learned wherever he was,
Well,
he learned the territory real good.
I know he's the fucking madman of Wisteria or whatever.
Yeah,
so.
there's two Wisteria references, and both well deserved.
A short time after his wife's departure, Fish began to experiment more with self-harm, such as hitting himself repeatedly with
Which
a
is-
nail-studded paddle,
Which is when the son found him.
inserting wool doused with lighter fluid into his asshole and lighting it on fire.
Oh my god.
What?
That's a lot.
That is like no. Bad. Bad. I just want to smack put his nose in it. No. You don't do that.
In jamming needles into his groin and abdomen through his grundle or taint.
Depending on what gender I found out grundle.
I'm squirming.
Yes, the whole episode has made me
Ugh.
uncomfortable to
That's
sit,
so
and now
gross.
without even knowing, that's how he must have been all the time because he had 29 needles jammed in his taint or his.
I'm afraid I'm gonna sit on a needle.
Honestly,
Why?
well, because he liked the pain. He wanted to feel pain all the time.
Why did he
Also,
light his asshole on fire?
that's your problem. That's your hang up right now.
Actually, yeah.
Okay,
bad.
well.
That's a weird one.
You want to know the truth, BG? Because he told a story, and whether it's true or not is up for debate. But he said when they were at the orphanage, they found an old horse in a field, right? And they tied it up to the fence, and the boys wrapped its fucking tail in cotton, soaked it in gasoline, and lit it on fire, and watched the horse try to run away from the fire, right? But it was on his
What
tail,
the fuck?
right? But he said,
I wish you didn't tell me this
But-
story.
Yeah.
BG,
I'm
he
sad.
said in his mind,
This is the most disturbing thing that you said so far.
Albert Fish said in his mind that was him, and the fire that was always chasing him that he couldn't stop because it was attached to him was these feelings that he got.
Was wool,
But it
and he
became,
just put it in his
well,
ass.
it became the idea became a reality in his mind. He's like, I want to be the horse. I want to be the freaking horse. Because he's old as shit when you see pictures of him. I just imagine he kind of sounds like Sean Connery a little bit, right? But in reality, he sounds like, yo, frick, I like to stick shit on my ass and light fire, huh? Well, you
Did
dope.
you think that horse story was worth putting in here?
I got it in, didn't I?
Well, I had to ask about it.
Well, okay, well then that's fucking random facts.
Well,
Random
As you
fact
said-
about fish.
police found 29 needles lodged in his pelvic region when they x-rayed him. But some may have actually disintegrated because they were there for so long.
Yes. Imagine that. Imagine having a needle jammed inside your fucking taint, just barely missing your fucking shitter or your wiener, and
Oh.
it just is in there for so long, it just literally your body eats it away.
That's insane.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why people are like, he's not crazy, he's just saying this stuff. And they took x-rays and doctors like, he's got 29 of them in there. And they're like, that's pretty crazy. So that's where it's like, is he really crazy? Yeah, at least in this way he is.
All of these dudes are at least somewhat crazy.
Yep. It's just, are you culpable for your crimes, which most are.
One
Most-
thing you must know about Fish is that he loved to read and write. I must know that. Of
Yes.
all the things, this is what I must know.
Yes, because BG and Mike, it becomes super important because his letter writing becomes the obsession of his life for the rest of it. He loves writing dirty letters.
He loved to read the newspaper and clip out stories of rape, forced sterilization, etc. He also loved Edgar Allan Poe.
Yep, he was.
Who doesn't?
I actually do genuinely love Edgar Allan Poe. I don't like rapes, forced sterilization, all that stuff though. Not
No,
into that.
not into that
Telltale
stuff.
Heart, right?
Yes,
That's a great
you
one.
can name one. Thank you.
Yeah.
At this time, he became obsessed with writing perverted letters to women whose names he found in classified ads and matrimonial agencies. He got the idea from reading dirty letters discovered at a mental institution.
Okay. Imagine how fucked up the letters from the mental patients are if he's like, oh, I freaking love this shit, huh? You seen this shit? Oh, god damn it. Also, there was just a collection of these letters. I was reading through them, and in one part, I swear to God, he was asking these women to he was pretending he had a son. And he was telling these women, I need you to come and spank my son's ass when he's bad with this certain cat o' nine tails whip that I like, right? But he's he's in Upper Darby, Pennsylvania right now. That's where I was born and raised. And I was like, why are you referencing my tiny little town? Fucking why? So he knew my town somehow.
Well,
I don't understand
Imagine this. Albert Fish had a lot of children. Albert Fish could have had children in all kinds of places. Imagine Albert Fish was in Upper Darby and he had this other secret life and he had children, and imagine that you are a descendant of Albert Fish. Think about that.
I'm not nearly... I don't like that idea anymore.
No?
No, I don't even...
Now you don't like being called Albert Fish,
No,
huh?
and I'm sorry. I said sorry.
I'm not saying you are Albert Fish. I'm certainly not saying that. I'm saying it's a high probability that you have come from
High
the way.
probability.
Yeah, it's 81%, I think. And I'm not good at math, but it's definitely there.
You gotta do that 23andMe thing.
It just says
Okay.
Albert Fish.
It just
right out there.
just like it got the Golden State Killer caught, it's gonna get Albert Fish caught. They're gonna go to his grave freeze! Got him again, guys. Got him again. Go ahead.
I'm gonna read one of his letters now.
Yeah, you're gonna do it, but you have to do it in the fucking voice.
Okay. I wish you could freaking see me now.
Cut down on the freakins and the bros, because I don't need Vince Russo, I just need the voice, you fucking
I
asshole.
don't know if he can do it without that.
He
I am
needs-
sitting naked in a chair. The pain is across my back, just over my behind.
Oh.
When you strip me naked, you will see a most perfect form.
Mike has definitely said that to a woman, for sure.
Yours, sweet honey of my heart. I can taste your sweet piss, your sweet shit. You must pee-pee in a glass, and I shall drink every freaking drop of it as you watch me. Tell me you have to do number 2. I will take you over my freaking knee, pull up your clothes, take down your drawers, and hold my freaking mouth to your sweet honey fat ass, and eat your sweet peanut butter as it comes out fresh and freaking hot, bro. That is how they do it in Hollywood.
That is how they do it in Hollywood, is the perfect ending for that fucking whole bit.
Now,
Also,
that is a poem.
okay, it's not a poem, it's just a letter. But
Great letter.
with that said, look at the references in here. Doesn't it seem like this would be written by a younger kid, like a kid almost, with number 2, and how it's peanut butter and pee-pee.
Sweet peanut
But
butter.
you know what? Here's the thing. It comes from, in my mind, when I read this, I laughed so hard, but it comes from my mind where he's this dude has trained himself to talk like a child, or his development was arrested at that time. He can't even help it. That's how he lured children. He just knew how to talk to them and how to speak their fucking language. And this kind of indicates that, and it's fucking disgusting, dude. This is fucking crazy awful, and I hate every second of it.
Kids do think poop and pee is hilarious, so he was throwing some zingers out there to reel him in.
Peanut butter as it comes out fresh and hot. This is the second time in fucking 3 weeks we've talked about eating shit.
How they do it in Hollywood.
That is how they. That's my new tagline. Every time I do something fucked
That
up, I'm
might
just gonna be
stick.
yeah, that's how they do it in Hollywood. So is that okay? Can I do that?
Fish was arrested once for sending dirty letters, and police searched his home. Officers discovered additional
This
letters,
story. Oh my fucking god, this story is so awesome.
a cat of nine tails, a carrot, and a hot dog. When the officer picked up the hot dog and carrot, Fish told him he liked to stick him up his ass.
So the officer walks over. He walks over. He's
How
like,
old was this hot dog?
it was
though, I'm
decaying.
wondering?
They were both decaying, and the officer with his thumb and his forefinger picks up the hot dog. He's looking at it. He's like, "Yo, bro, what the frick is this? Why are you using this thing?" He's like, "I got to put him on my ass." What? None of your fucking business.
That's like a comedy skit.
Yeah. Well, it's not funny. It's disgusting.
That's pretty funny, actually.
It's too fucking
That's a
disgusting.
good prank.
It is a good
That's
prank.
like Mallrats.
It is. Yeah. This is all a lot like Mallrats. Sans the rape.
Eventually, Fish remarried on February 6, 1930, because the first one worked out so well, to Estella Wilcox, but the two were divorced after only 1 week. It's a Kim Kardashian, Chris Humphries situation here. And one of the
That's
most fucked
timely.
up things you'll ever read, Mary Nicholas, Fish's 17-year-old stepdaughter at the time of the trial, spoke about how Fish taught the children several quote-unquote games.
Yeah, this motherfucker made them up on the spot. They're not real games. He's just
I'll play a
like,
game.
he-
I don't
he
know.
just
I
wa-
heard of these
he
games.
walks in. He's like, I don't know. Yeah, you want to play a game? Let's play. Crawl on my back and stick things in my asshole. Yeah, hey, it's a new game they got on the streets, kid. All right, let's do it.
Yeah, maybe wildly inappropriate, but it's time for Attention Horrors Theater.
Woo! Yeah, I like how you're also starting to talk like Vincent Price now. You can't even help it.
Who's who
BG,
here?
BG, you will be Dempsey, and I will be Mary Nicholas.
What kind of games?
Oh, Buck, how many hands up? He went into his room, and he had a little pair of brown trunks that he put on. He took everything off but those. He put those on and came out into the front room and got down on his hands and knees, and he had a paint stick, and you stir paint with. We would sit on his back one at a time with our back facing him, and then we would put up our how many fingers, and he would tell us how many fingers we had up. And if we guessed right, he never did. We weren't supposed to hit him. But if we were wrong, we would hit him as many fingers as we had up.
Why are you Miss Piggy?
Kermie!
Was
they-
your
so
mother
they had
there
this-
when you played this game?
Yeah, motherfucker, but they're just slapping him in the ass with a big old fucking paint pad on. Yeah, the mother was there. Say it again.
Was your mother there when you played this game?
Yes!
Did you play any other games?
Yes! Sack of potatoes over, Kermie!
How was that one played?
He would put on those little trunks and throw us over his shoulder, and we would slide down his back and we would scratch him with our nails. By the time we would get through playing, why, his back would be red.
I like how he has brown Speedo.
Dude, this is so fucked up. He just gets
I
in
like
this.
how your
he-
fucking impression, I was picturing like a little old lady, like a witch, and now I'm picturing fucking Miss Piggy because of Mike.
It's
ruining
Because of
Miss
me,
Piggy
that's
forever.
what it was.
It's Muppet
not my
Babies.
fault.
Now just imagine Muppet Babies if Fish is there to molest the Muppet Babies. That's what it is, right?
No.
So he's there
No.
in front of the in front of the mom. He's making these games up. He's making her children slap his ass while he's in this little brown fucking Speedo, right? And then when that game's done, he's making them slide down his back and scratch his back until there's blood running down his legs.
She immediately regretted that decision to marry him.
Hey, that's why it lasted a week.
It's the gift. It's the
Yeah,
gift
he's
where
pretty comfortable to do that in a
Grandpa
week.
Grandpa Abe walks in, puts his hat on the rack, picks it back up, walks out. That's what this marriage was.
Yeah, had
Nope,
to have been.
nope.
I'll tell you what, if a man comes in my house and is like, does your daughter want to slide down my back and scratch my back? I'm just going to fucking punch him in the face until I can't, and then I'll ask questions later. I'll figure it out later. But until then, he is Albert Fish.
The family also reported that Fish would light fires in the center of the bathroom each night.
Nope. I tell you what this is. That's what they said in court. But you know what the actuality of the situation was? I bet you he was doing the asshole fire thing there.
Yeah, definitely.
And they were just finding it in the center of the bathroom after he fucking pulled it out because the pain was too much.
You know how much that must hurt after when you gotta go take a shit?
Yeah, I could imagine it probably hurts a lot.
Isn't that the point?
Yeah,
guess.
I think that is the point. Yes.
Hmm.
I'm like so mad and disgusted and like just read. It's like I read the whole book. I had to write this whole outline. I'm like done. Now I'm like reading it again. I'm like, God damn it.
Monsters are real.
Okay, and this
Let's
is where like, haha, that was a little bit fun. Like this is where we're about to take the turn. This is where we're gonna take the turn.
In one of the first verified instances of Fish getting caught, he attempted to take 8-year-old Beatrice Keel into neighboring woods on July 11th, 1924, but her mother chased him away. Fish returned that night and slept in the family's barn before being run off again by the father.
Oh my god, just a fucking man.
Didn't he like have a fucking house or whatever?
No, he fucking just for years and years he would just wander around. He
Never
was in
lived
boarding.
anywhere?
He was in boarding houses.
He's a
He was in
drifter.
homeless shelter. He just became a fucking.
But he had all this cash to give, as we learn soon.
Well, it's probably because he wasn't paying rent. He's sleeping in
I guess
barns
so.
and shit.
Maybe not a bad idea.
It's a terrible. What do you mean it's not a bad idea? This is what I'm talking
He was
about.
loaded.
Oh my god. He's not held down. He's saying he's not constrained. He's like, I ain't got no mortgage.
Free spirit.
His thermostat, his fucking
He's definitely
heater
a free
always
spirit.
works.
The Keel family worked with police later on to confirm Fish was indeed the man who nearly abducted Beatrice over a decade earlier. Fish admitted that in 1924 he started to hear God telling him to torture and sexually mutilate children. God does not say that.
I'm gonna
I
say
don't
he
know the
didn't
man,
say that.
but he definitely doesn't say that.
I'm not even sure if he's real, but if he is, he ain't saying that.
On July 14th, 1924, 9-year-old Francis McDonald went missing from a Staten Island neighborhood. As the son of a police officer, a massive search party was formed, and the body of the boy was quickly found hanging from a tree by his suspenders.
Oh my god, dude, it gets so fucking rough from here on
Man.
out.
As a result, Arthur McDonald was transferred to Staten Island to work on his son's case.
Yeah, honestly though, could you fucking imagine being that cop? Like they take
Yeah,
you
why
find him
not?
dead, and they're just like, you know what, dude, we're putting you on the fucking front
Yeah,
lines, and it's
You
like,
would think you would not want to be part of that.
Yeah.
nah, he did. He's like, I want to be on the fucking front lines. I'm gonna find the dude who killed my. You're a cop. That's what you do.
That's true.
And now
Yeah.
I want to find the kid who did that to my child.
Like Batman.
It's like Batman. It is a lot like Batman.
McDonald had been sexually assaulted and strangled with his suspenders. The autopsy found that sections of the boy's legs and abdomen had been cut away.
But why?
Oh.
We'll talk about why later.
I know why.
Yeah.
As for witnesses, the other children playing with Francis said he was taken by an elderly man with a gray mustache, while a neighbor told police he observed the boy with a similar-looking man walking across a grassy path into the nearby woods. Grassy knolls are never a good thing.
What I learned in this is that people were very trusting back then because they didn't even think to be like, excuse me, is that your son you're walking into the woods with, or like what's going on here? Because like nowadays there'd be fucking 5 parents would fucking tackle you and beat the shit out of you for even thinking about looking at a kid wrong. But then we'll talk about it later when we get to Grace Budd. But like people were very trusting back then.
Seriously, it's like even when you think back to like when we were kids, how much different it is
Yeah.
now. Imagine even that much further back, how much different it was.
When you hear what he did and what Grace Budd's parents did, you're gonna be like,
Yep.
I cannot fucking imagine what went through
Yep.
your mind to say yes.
Francis's mother, Anna McDonald, also saw the man earlier in the day. She said of him,
He came freaking shuffling down the street, mumbling to himself, and making queer motions with his hand. It was different then. You could say that. That was like weird. That's just weird. You know what I mean? I ain't nothing saying about nobody. I'm cool with that. Like, hey, whatever you want to do, that's your thing. That's all quote. I'll never forget those hands. I shudder when I look at them. I shudder every time I think of them. How they opened and shut, opened and shut, opened and shut. If you're not doing it, you're not doing this fucking
I
show
am doing
correctly.
it.
I am too. I saw him look toward Francis and the others. I saw his thick gray mustache and his thick gray hair and his drooping gray mustache. Everything about him seemed faded and gray. The gray man turned to me. He tipped his hat and then he went away.
was Anna McDonald Jewish?
Oh God.
And I figured out what he was doing with his hands. He was doing the YMCA.
No.
That's what it is. Young man.
No. Can I say something?
Yeah.
He's absolutely not doing the YMCA. For the record,
Why
he's not.
do it? Why?
No, he's grasping his
Yeah.
head. Put your hand. You know when you make the fart sound in your hand? That's what they're talking about. He just kept opening and closing his hands like that, like he's making the fart sound. Oh my God!
Okay.
Don't no. Go, please.
No, he was doing the YMCA.
He was not. If he was
Sure.
doing the YMCA, he was way ahead of his
He
time.
created it, yeah. The comments and description caused newspapers
He
to
is a
call him
monster.
the Gray Man.
Yeah. So he's now. This is where the gray man. And honestly, of all the things, the gray man is just like, and him just fading into like the crowd and never seen again. It's just terrifying, honestly.
Isn't it the name of Aliens?
The Greys, but yeah.
The Grayman.
The Grayman, yes.
The McDonald murder remained unsolved until the Fish was convicted of Grace Budd's murder. He admitted he was going to castrate the boy, but fled when he heard someone approaching the area.
Oh my God, dude. And he meant castrated while he was alive too, because he liked to hear them scream. He
that
said.
one guy.
Yep.
Well, but the one guy when he screamed, he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Well, okay. Well, that's yeah. Well, he got over it.
Fish only.
He's at home today. I should have just finished the job. Why you always half-assing shit, Albie?
He was just so mad at himself for
Do
years.
you think he
after.
called himself ham and eggs when he fucked up?
Yeah, he's like, you're being a real ham and eggs right now.
Fish only admitted his guilt to this crime after he was sentenced to death for the murder of Grace Budd. Fish was dubbed the most vicious child slayer in criminal history.
And as someone who loves newspaper headlines and reading old newspapers from this time, it was so sensationalized. It was all over, and the New York tabloids are not any different than they've ever been, but it is a big time thing, and it was all over the place.
During this time, a girl was walking through the woods when she came across a man who looked like Fish eating something out of both hands like an animal.
Okay,
When
look at a
it was
picture of
shit.
Albert Fish, and you can just see, yeah, it's probably shit.
It was poopy. When she tried to
Are you
run
him?
away,
Are you him saying poopy? You called the shit poop?
it was number 2. When she tried to run away, Fish chased her while screaming in a foreign tongue, which sounded like Italian, stopping only once he had reached a clearing.
What's the matter for you? That's what he said. What's the matter for you? I'm trying to shit over here. What's the matter for you, huh? Fuck out of here, huh? What's the matter for you? I'm smacking the fucking head out of him.
He's having a freaking Sunday dinner in the woods.
I'm trying to muck with the dookies. Let's muck with the dookies. This is not, it's not funny. None of this is funny. Stop laughing.
That part was. Another murder Fish admitted to after his death was that of 4-year-old Billy Gaffney on February 11th, 1927. Gaffney was playing in the hallway with 2 other boys when he was abducted. When asked who took their friend, one of the boys said, "The boogeyman took him."
Oh, that's so fucking scary, dude. Honestly, that's so fucking scary.
Gaffney's body was never recovered, and Fish did not admit to this crime until after a man operating a Brooklyn trolley saw Fish's picture in the newspaper. He said he remembers Fish getting on the train the day of Gaffney's disappearance with an underdressed boy who cried the whole time for his mother.
Yeah, see something,
Nobody
say
said
something.
anything?
Yeah,
See something, say something. It's what the subways are all about now. Do something. And Mike, you said he admitted a lot of these things, and that's why maybe you didn't believe the 15. I firmly believe he only admitted to the crimes that he was directly connected to. The other ones he was questioned about, but he only admitted to this stuff after he was sentenced to death because he was trying to get out of it. The thing is, with him, he wasn't excited to go to the chair like everybody said he was. He was really trying to get out of this. He didn't want
He
to go to
acted
jail.
like he was.
Well, yes, once he fucking was convicted, he became a real hard ass, real telephone tough guy.
Police confirmed Fish had been employed to paint houses a few miles away from where the boy was abducted on that date. In his own words, here's what Fish did to Gaffney.
Mike, I'm going to ask you to do this because I don't want to read this. But if you also don't feel comfortable reading this, I guess I'll take it.
If you want me to read it, I'll read it. I'll read it in normal voice.
You
though.
have to, no, you cannot do it in any funny voice. This has to be 100% serious because this, legitimately, and PG, Mike, this is where my opinion of Albert Fish is important because his affinity for writing those letters led him to write letters to his fucking lawyer when he was caught, to the police. He would write these to the police. He wouldn't admit a lot of this stuff out loud. He wanted it written down because he found it easier to write the things down. And I think part of him wanted to watch you read it and get your genuine, like, oh my fucking God reaction, because he loved getting that. And part of it was he would get off by writing these fucked up letters to these women, and he realized, like, oh shit, I'm already caught. I'm already going to jail. Maybe I'll write this really fucked up letter. So how much of this is true is up for debate, but there is evidence that some of this is true. And the same thing with the Grace Budd letter. How much is true, but some of this is true. So this begins a time of just respect here, because go ahead, Mike.
I brought him to the Riker Avenue dumps. There's a house that stands alone not far from where I took him. I took the G-boy there, stripped him naked, and tied his hands and feet and gagged him with a piece of dirty rag I picked out of the dump. Then I burned his clothes, threw his shoes in the dump. Then I walked back and took the trolley to 59th Street at 2 a.m. and walked home from there. Next day about 2 p.m. I took tools, a good heavy cat of nine tails, homemade, short handle, cut one of my belts in half, slit these half in 6 strips about 8 inches long. I whipped his bare behind till the blood ran from his legs. I cut off his ears, nose, slit his mouth from ear to ear, gouged out his eyes. He was dead then. I stuck the knife in his belly and held my mouth to his body and drank his blood. I picked up 4 old potato sacks and gathered a pile of stones. Then I cut him up. I had a grip with me. I put his nose, ears, and a few slices of his belly in the grip. Then I cut him through the middle of his body, just below his belly button. Then through his legs about 2 inches below his behind. I put this in my grip with a lot of paper. I cut off the head, feet, arms, hands, and the legs below the knee. This I put in sacks weighed with stones, tied the ends, and threw them into the pools of slimy water you will see all along the road going to North Beach. Water is 3 to 4 feet deep. They sank at once. I came home with my meat. I had the front of his body I liked best, his monkey and peewees, and a nice little fat behind, to roast in the oven and eat. I made a stew out of his ears, nose, pieces of his face and belly. I put onions, carrots, turnips, celery, salt, and pepper. It was good. Then I split the cheeks of his behind open, cut off his monkey and peewees, and washed them first. I put strips of bacon on each cheek of his behind and put in the oven. Then I picked 4 onions, and when meat had roasted about a quarter of an hour, I poured about a pint of water over it for gravy and put in the onions. At frequent intervals, I basted his behind with a wooden spoon so the meat would be nice and juicy. In about 2 hours, it was nice and brown, cooked through. I never ate any roast turkey that tasted half as good as this sweet, fat little behind did. I ate every bit of the meat in about 4 days. His little monkey was as sweet as a nut, but his peewees I could not chew. Threw him in the toilet.
Oh my God. Like, let's just
Oh, shit.
sit down for a second. Everybody, sit down and just stop, okay? I don't
Is
know
that
what to
last
do.
line,
What'd you say?
is that last line necessary?
Yeah, for real. I just like, okay. But here, when
That
you
was
read,
his walk-off.
yeah, he's like, threw it in the toilet. Thanks for your time.
Pee-wees fucking suck.
But see how he talks about the balls as peewees and his fucking dick was his monkey. Like
Is
that's
that why you think Pee-wee Herman is named Pee-wee Herman?
oh my God, could you
For
fucking
balls?
imagine if that was fucking real? Like if it was
I
the
think it
one
is.
guy liked Albert Fish as a kid and he's just like, yeah, we will name him Pee-wee and no one will understand. But no, when you read this, it's so fucking crazy that part of me is like, I don't believe it. But part of me is like, I kind of do believe it. You know what I mean? Like that's the weird part of this. What is real and what's not in this is really the police could never distinguish. So
Which part are you not believing?
I believe it all.
This last part about like, what don't you believe?
I believe that just how brutal the murder was. Like I with the things that he was doing, and what they say about child molesters who eventually kill children is that they molest the kid, then they leave a mark that will be seen, so they kill him to keep him quiet. And I feel like if you do that and then he escalates from there, I feel like he wouldn't be so brutal with it. So something maybe he like killed this kid because he wanted to just kill him, just keep him quiet, but it wasn't nearly, I don't know if he drank the blood and like all that shit. Like I don't know if that's real. Like that just seems, and he gave a recipe for cooking a child. Like did he really do
did
that?
like
I'm not
Martha
sure.
Stewart that shit. The
Yeah,
way
he really
just,
did.
Like,
He fucking
step by
did.
step.
It's fucking, it's haunting. It really is, man. But yeah, okay, so we got one more line here.
When Billy Gaffney's mother Elizabeth showed up to the prison after Fish admitted his crimes, he refused to talk to her or even look at her, depriving her of any closure about the death of her son. She set a place at the dinner table on holidays for years after.
Oh, and that's where we end the first part.
Yikes.
Oh my God,
What a
I'm
fucking
so
downer.
I'm sorry, dude, but you have to listen to
Ending on Pee-wees.
and monkeys. But
Mhm.
in all honesty, that is so fucking crazy. All of that is just so fucking crazy. It's what do you believe? Because Albert Fish's story is either an old man telling a bunch of lies after he was sentenced to death to just build up his name, or he was truly one of the most maniacal fucking pieces of shit ever. Either way,
Wow.
he's still a child
The
murderer.
latter. The
He's
second one.
just always a piece of shit, bro.
He was definitely a piece of shit. No matter what, he guaranteed to have killed at least 3 children and admitted to molesting kids all over the country. But this is another level. Doing that, giving a recipe and eating a child and doing this shit and acting on behalf of God, that is another level of insanity and just depravity, and it's so fucked up. It's so fucked up. Well, guys, I am sorry to you, Mike and BG. I'm sorry to you, the fans. You had to go through that, but guess what, guys? We got another hour of this to go, so I'm sorry in advance for what's gonna happen, but it's coming back. But guys, how do you follow us? You listen to that episode, you're all fucked up in the head. You have something to say to us. At Donald_Wood, at Mike Chiari, at BGMY3, at Attention Horror. Find us, guys, Attention Horror, on iTunes, Google Play, Spreaker, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. Please give us a 5-star rating. Review us on whatever podcast platform you use. It helps us greatly. We really appreciate it. A huge shout out to our executive producers, including graphic designer Daniel Hayden, director of music Eliza Easy Bieber Casio, and research assistant Laurent Mondon. He's been helping me out with a lot of books. I really appreciate that.
I feel bad for him.
Don't tweet me about this.
Don't tweet you.
Well, here's what we do. We tell people about these things, and then we really fuck them up, and then we give them therapy.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a vicious circle.
It is. You need us by the end. That was
Yep.
part 1 of our in-depth series on the moon maniac Albert Fish. In 2 weeks, January 21st, we dive into the murder of Grace Budd, his confessions, his trial, his death in the electric chair, so much more, guys. But you know what? Mike, you excited about next week's show? Or 2 weeks' show?
Is excited the right word for it?
I would say, because you know what that means, if you're kind of excited or a little bit, you're ready to come back, right?
I think I have to. Contractually obligated.
Because we are here to stay.
It's 3 a.m. Someone's at my door, who can it be? Oh my god. It's one of my multiple personalities. It had to be the one who always wants to challenge me and lead the rally in this spree of destruction and calamity. Demanded me to follow him into the woods to meet up with 13 extraterrestrials and Bigfoot. This isn't good. I'd run away if I could, but my other personalities are telling me I should. Go with him, hop in the car, I'm sitting shy. Shortly after, we're stopped by members of the Illuminati, wanting me to join them for fame and riches galore. But the spotlight's really on them. Attention whores.
And welcome to another edition of Attention Horrors. I am your host of the most, Donald Wood.
Ew.
No, I don't know. I was trying to. I was inspired by Albert Fish. It's just a big. He's just the sounds he probably made like while
Thomas
shuffling.
Kedden.
Oh no!
After he cut a dick.
No! You keep
Yep.
saying "cut your dick." I hope when you say it, you have a different fucking tone in your voice.
Nope,
Because
I'm just gonna block this part out of my head.
I hope so. Because otherwise, if it just starts creeping in, you're going to be the character we're talking about on the show one day. Brandon Galvin, you're also here.
Wish I wasn't.
Yeah, I feel like you don't want your name associated with the show anymore. It's like you
Too
knew
late.
what you were getting yourself into, dude. You need to own it, okay? You need to flown it.
Here's the thing. Like, part 1 fucked up.
Mhm.
And now you want to tell me part 2, like you're saving like the best for last is what you would say. Like, what the fuck are we in for?
Gets worse.
Yeah, well, if you thought it ended bad, it's going to start pretty bad, too. Because we're going to get that out of the way. And then, but yeah, like, didn't you have a little bit of fun talking about this in the first episode, BG?
No.
Not at the
There were
end.
some things that were fun.
And there were some things that were, like, sweet peanut butter, that's how they do it in Hollywood. I laughed
Right.
about that's how they do
It
it
was
in
a great
Hollywood.
moment.
It was a fun moment. Talking about the boy at the dump, that's not fun. There's no
Fish
fun in
had
it.
his moments, you know?
It's like a shitty comedian that you laugh at. It like Jeff Dunham. It's like every once in a while you're like, ha!
He had one hit.
That's a
this
fun.
guy.
That's a fun. Oh, you know what? That's a racist clown he's got out there. I can't do that. I can't laugh at that. All right, well, guys, you know what? I'm excited to be back, no matter what we're talking about. And unfortunately, it's just Albert Fish. And there's a lot of bad stuff we're about to read, so I'm sorry in advance for everything that's going to happen. But, you know, you already listened to
We
the
didn't
first
do
part.
it.
Yeah, we didn't. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. We didn't do
You
it.
mad at us?
We're
for?
just literally reading court documents and stuff from the newspaper about a fucking crazy guy that's, like, famous for being one of the dirtiest old pieces of shit in the world. But let's talk about our sources. Deranged, the shocking true story of America's most fiendish killer by Harold Schechter. Albert Fish, in his own words, the Kindle edition. Got it on my fucking nick. John Borowski, the Albert Fish documentary from 2007, also by John Borowski. And so many internet articles and YouTube videos.
Imagine being John Borowski and dedicating your life to Albert Fish.
Yeah, for real. Like, I dedicated, I'd say, a weekend. Between,
Which is way too much on its own.
Yeah, oh, believe me, I regret
But it's
every
not a
second of it. I want to fucking be with my family, and I'm just like, this book. You want to know the truth? I hate the book so much now that I'm donating it to the library. So I hope they take it.
So you're gonna allow children to see this?
Well,
That's
no.
good.
There's also
That's a good idea.
adults also go to libraries. Like, I know. You're like, I ain't never been there.
I haven't been to a library since I was fucking 10.
Yeah, I love the library. I go, well,
I don't even know where any are anymore.
Laurent Mondon works at the library, and I fucking go over there all the time, and he helps me out.
That might be the closest one to me.
The one by me.
I don't know.
Just go. Just look around. I bet you find one.
Browse the library.
It's fun. BG, you excited for this?
Oh.
BG, the tone from the first episode and this episode is just you've just shifted.
Yeah, because
You're
I
a different
came
man
in
now.
not knowing anything
He knows
about
too much
Albert
now.
Fish.
You're never gonna go back. You can't. You can't unhear these things.
You can't. I don't know. This is it's a little different than the previous ones.
Well, it's like John Wayne Gacy when it got really serious, right?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that, like, you had a good impression there. You had your Miss Piggy impression in part 1. But usually you do impressions about these people that you put on such a high pedestal.
Oh no! Don't do this. No, I'm highlighting the crime. So if anybody sees them, see something, say something. You know what I mean? Like we're learning today. Like if you see a little boy like without a coat and it's the wintertime and he's like, I want my mommy, an old man like shut up. Attack that man. I'm gonna give you permission to attack that man. Satire, don't actually attack him. What you need to do is call the authorities and say, this man probably has a child. See something, say something. Let's get into
Let's get into this.
All right.
BG cannot handle it. He's just like, let's just get it over with, okay?
We are reintroducing a monster. Before we get to the abduction of Grace Budd, there's a story told in one of the New York City newspapers about a child named Cyril Quinn. Fish had been molesting him over an extended period when he lured the boy and a friend over to his house for lunch.
Okay.
As Fish was making food...
First of all, it's disgusting enough that he's just been molesting this boy just like over and over again.
Mm-hmm. As Fish was making food, the boys were playing on his bed and fell. When they looked under Fish's bed, they saw what the old pervert called as implements of hell, and they ran away.
Okay, what are the implements of hell?
Well, glad you asked. The implements of hell were a meat cleaver, a butcher knife, and a small handsaw.
Oh my god, imagine you're at the house of the dude who molests you, and you fall on the ground and there's just that shit under the bed. You're like, you know what? I'm fucking out of here, dude. Just remember the implements of hell, too, because it's very important.
Who allowed the child to go be with fucking Albert Fish all the time,
So
too?
a lot of these kids in New York were, like, in tenement homes and stuff like that, and it's like they're not the best... what did he say earlier? He's going after the mentally impaired. He's going after people whose parents won't care. You know what I mean? So he's attacking runaways. He's attacking vulnerable kids.
Well, here's how not to be a parent.
Yeah, okay. As a
This
fucking
is bad.
parent, I read this and literally had to stop, and I came up and was just like, what the I had to walk away from the story at this time because this whole story just fucking blows my mind. BG, did you not read any of this? You don't know anything about Grace Budd?
Nothing.
Grace Budd is why Albert Fish is famous. This became one of the biggest court cases of the 1900s. It was one of the biggest cases. That's why he's famous. That's why people knew him for a very, very long time and still talk about him. This is what happens.
We had mentioned this in part 1.
Yes, because he would scream her name. He would scream the name Grace Budd in his sleep.
Well, Fish saw a classified ad in the New York World on May 25th, 1928 that read, Young man, 18, wishes position in country, Edward Budd, 406 West 15th Street. Fish arrived at the Budd family house on May 28th, 1928, and announced himself as Frank Howard. That's a lie.
Yeah, he couldn't think of any name. He's like, it's Frank Howard.
He revealed later that his intention was to convince Edward to work on his fake farm, tie him up, mutilate his penis, and leave him to bleed to death. He was trying to make good on his mistakes from earlier.
He was, because he also thought that it was a thing from God. Like, it's the Abraham and Isaac thing, where God says you got to kill your son, and then I'll come, and then the angel comes and says, no, you don't have to. God was testing you. And he thought that if what he was doing was wrong, an angel would come save the boy, but it never did.
That's a bad take.
Yep.
Delia Budd and her husband Albert. What are the odds? Invited Fish
There's like
into their
8
home.
names in fucking 1910. Don't even fucking try this. 1928, whatever this was.
How hard do you think it was for him when he was like, I'm Frank Howard, my name's Albert.
He's
Oh,
like-
me too. Oh, I mean, no, my name's Frank.
Ain't that some shit? I knew a guy named Albert. He was like, I'm Albert. No. I knew a guy. You can imagine what it'd be like to be Albert. And by the way, his name wasn't even Albert anyway. His name was Hamilton.
It was Ham and Egg.
He's like my brother's name. I'm taking his name. I liked it better anyway.
Finders keepers. Delia found the man's clothes shabby and it said his teeth made him look like a kindly old rodent.
Oh.
I could just see that, like,
Here's Splinter.
another
old rodent.
Muppet Babies reference. What's the rat's name?
Rizzo.
Like, it's just, I imagine him coming in like, hey, man, like, with the accent and everything, because he's got a New York accent.
But Rizzo wasn't old.
Nah,
Fucking
but just
Splinter was
make-
old. He lived in the New York City sewers, which, I mean,
Don't
essentially,
make this comparison.
that's Albert
Holy
Fish.
shit.
Don't
He
do
is
that.
definitely fondling those turtles. He is
He
fondling.
would've.
But looking back now, he was
Come
definitely
here over to old Uncle
Oh, Splinter? No, fuck you.
like, Splinter's
Old
like,
Uncle
I
Splinter's
got a
lap.
pizza for you, alright? It's extra sausage.
There's a hole in the
It's like the
pizza
point.
box.
And fucking Michelangelo's like, whoa, man, that's not cool. And he's just like, shh, keep your turtle mouth shut.
All these years, I thought Shredder was the enemy, and it's actually Splinter.
It's from within.
Shredder
The
was trying
biggest
to
enemy
save
is
the
from
turtles
within.
from Splinter.
Yeah, he's just saving them from. He's like, you don't understand. He's not there for you. That's a bad touch.
Well, how do we ruin everything that we fucking talk about?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
When Edward showed up with a friend who was also looking for work, Fish almost abandoned his plan, but decided to make it work. Was gonna go for a twofer.
He was. He did. He was like, they're like strapping young fucking men, and he's like a little dude. He was like 5'8", 135 pounds, right?
He probably got his ass beat if he took both of them.
Mm.
Well, he's like, he's like, okay, let me figure it out. Hold on, give
He'd
me a
probably
sec.
like that though, right? Just getting beat.
Honestly, he probably would. Yeah. Well, when we find out about his prison days, he loved it.
Mm.
He told the family he would return in a few days to pick the boys up, stringing them along more and more about his importance and stature so they would be eager to please him.
Yeah, so he just
That's a
kept,
Donald
he,
Wood
kept,
move
he
is
kept
what
not
that is.
showing up and then sending a letter like, sorry, I had business in New Jersey. And they're like, oh, you went to New Jersey. Oh, my God. There's so much fucking Staten Island trash in this fucking story. I swear to God, dude. Just like, and then just everything they do. It's like that he comes in, but he's got a suit on. And she's like, it's kind of shabby. Wow, it's a suit. Look at him. He's kind of fancy. Hey, Albert, look at him. He's kind of fancy.
On his way back to the Bud House, Fish left his implements of hell with an attendant at a local newsstand.
So this motherfucker just asked the dude at the newsstand, can you hold this bag filled with dangerous weapons? And he's like, yep.
Why did he need somebody to hold it?
Because he didn't want to bring it to the fucking house. And they're like,
Why?
well,
He could just be like, oh yeah, this is my fucking briefcase with important things.
It wasn't. It was a fucking.
crackers.
It was a fucking like blanket with them rolled up in it.
Oh, well, he should have had a better way to transport it.
Oh yeah, he was living in tenement houses. He's a
Should
fucking
have had a
monster,
fucking
dude.
bag or something.
You know what? He did a lot of things wrong, Mike.
Yeah. He had a lot of money, as we'll learn.
Yeah.
Could have bought a fucking bag. Back at the Bud House, Delia described him as laughing oddly, saying he made a faint snuffling sound through his nose, like someone clearing his sinuses.
Have you heard the latest? Have you heard the freaking latest joke, huh? Yo, you like Santa's coming, man. You fucking you like Christmas? 'Cause you'll love it. It hurts. It hurts me doing that. I don't know how I could laugh like that.
The family found they trusted the old man despite his shitty clothes because he wore a gaudy pinky ring.
Holy fucking Long Island trash. BG, you know this uncle or
Freaking
cousin.
ring, bro.
You know this uncle or cousin. He's usually in a fucking full tracksuit, and he's always got a fucking wife beater underneath, his hair slicked back, and he's like, yo, Is that a fucking real, authentic pinky ring on that
Pinky
finger?
ring
With
is
a
never a
cigar.
good look.
Just
Ever.
an unlit cigar.
Yeah, I'm saving it for later. You've been saving it for fucking later for like 2 months, dude. What the fuck you talking about? My name is Johnny the Runner. Everybody's the something.
The runner.
I'm Brandon the eyes hider, because I fucking hide my eyes the movies. I'm eyes hider.
No previews for me.
Go ahead.
After seeing her walk into the house, Fish turned his attention to 10-year-old Grace Budd and said he decided right away to kill her instead.
Okay, alright. He definitely had one of those moments of like Garth when in Wayne's World when he saw the girl that he liked in the red dress. He's like,
Yikes.
wow,
Wow.
whoa.
He
For
said
real.
he might have coined the term schwing.
They're like, excuse me, what did you say, Howard? And he's like, nothing.
Look at my
Nothing,
ring,
dude.
schwing!
Nothing, dude. Like, don't fuck worry about it. I say swing. It's a thing we rich people say, dummy. He said dummy a lot.
Fish made the girl jump on his lap and reach into his front pants pocket to grab out a wad of cash. He made her count the money in front of her poor family, $92.50, which equaled $1,348.27 in 2017.
Wow. Honestly,
Wow.
dude, that's a lot of fucking money. And if
Could
this,
have bought a
and
briefcase.
if this
for
is
your
during
saw.
the build up to the Depression too, so the fucking middle to lower class was already suffering big time here, and holy shit, man, this is he knows he's.
Painting?
I think he just saved a shit
It's
ton
an
of money.
inheritance.
Or maybe he robbed somewhere. I don't know what he fucking did to get the money. But the thing is, here's the thing. At this point, you're watching him play a game that to me feels like he's played it a million times. He knows exactly what to do and what to say to get his jollies off in these
Well,
situations.
yeah, because once he kills these people, he just takes his money back.
Yeah,
I like
And
how
their
he threw
money.
the 50 cents in there.
well, you gotta be accurate.
Mhm.
Because he gave them quarters.
Yep.
Said go buy
He
yourself.
did
It
it
was
all in
actually all
quarters.
pennies. Yeah, pick him up.
Just had rolls.
Honestly, a dude in my fantasy league owes me $100 for a side bet, and I literally made him. I want it all in pennies, and I also want him to spend an extra $5 on a blue plastic bat, one of those swimming pools, and I'm gonna put all the pennies there and swim in it during the fantasy league in front of him.
That's really dumb, because then that's more work for you to go and convert that back to
I might
the
get
money that you
MRSA
would actually.
again. I might get MRSA again too with all the dirty
Yeah,
ass
that's
money.
a really horrible idea.
I may not do it. In retrospect, I may
Do
do
it.
it for a hundo bill.
Do it.
Okay.
After convincing the family to let him take their daughter to a party for his niece, her mother helped get her dressed and walked the man and their daughter to the door before watching them walk away forever.
Okay, so Albert Fish said, "Oh, what a funny thing! I've got a niece who has a party today. Before I come back for Edward, to bring him to my farm. Remember that lie? I almost forgot that lie. I got that lie. I want to take your daughter to the party. Is that cool?" And they're like,
It's at Chuck E. Cheese.
they're like, "Yeah, I guess that's sure." I mean, he's like, you want to impress me because you want your son to get the job, right? And they're like, "Yeah, you are a rich guy. You're like a dirty pervert wouldn't like just have a bunch of money or nothing or a gaudy pinky ring to impress me. Take my kid. Go ahead, fucking take my kid. Take my 10-year-old daughter."
To DZ
So
Discovery
weird.
Zone.
It's really fucked up. Not DZ Discovery Zone. I don't know what that is.
Oh, that was like a kind of a Chuck E. Cheese type place
In
back
Buffalo?
In the day. No, it was national.
Was it DZ, like, was it sprayed on a fucking van and then you got in the
was
jungle
DX.
gym in the back of the van?
No,
He's
it
just
was a
like in
whole-
there. He's
DX
just like
Discovery Zone.
It was a whole big
That sounds
establishment.
fucking gross.
yeah, he's just in the back of a white Econoline van and dude's like, "Let's shake it side to side. Let's make it move." It's like, I don't
Actually, the
like
best
Chuck E.
place
Cheese.
like that.
Take out our glow sticks.
The best place like that by me though was Major Magics, and it was like Chuck E. Cheese, but it was a magician guy, animatronic guy. But I don't think that Albert Fish went there.
No, I don't think he
I
took
think
it
that-
at Magic Mike's or whatever it's called. I don't
No.
think he did that.
Great movie.
It's not. It's one of the worst endings to a movie I can ever fucking remember. But go ahead.
On the way to Wisteria Cottage, Fish picked up his implements of hell before purchasing 2 tickets. A round-trip ticket for him, a one-way ticket for Grace.
Wow.
Oh my god! Like as the ticket salesman, you're like, what's this? Like I don't. That's odd.
Didn't have the money to throw down for round trip.
Only one of us is coming back, so why would I buy the other? I mean, I'm dropping her off at home.
Yeah, drop her off at home.
When they arrived at their stop, Fish forgot his implements of hell on the train. Gray stopped him and said he forgot his package,
Oh.
running back onto the train and handing him the bag.
No! Little girl, no! That is
Did
so
he say
fucking-
this happened?
No. Well, he said this happened, and I'm pretty sure that the person who was driving the train, they traced it back to the train he took that day, and he said he remembers her stopping and them getting back on because he had to stop the door.
Yikes.
Yeah, most of this is correct. Most of what I'm getting, and from Harold Schechter especially in the book, either comes directly from Albert Fish or from court documents.
Wow.
As for what Fish actually did to Bud, here's the letter he sent to her mother, Delia, in 1934, which had to be read to her by Edward since she was illiterate.
Okay, so just for 1 second, before we get into this, realize that Edward is the reason that Albert Fish was there, and that either way, one of her kids was going to get murdered. So
Before you
that's
read
what.
this,
Okay.
who was the serial killer that also did this?
Sent
was it Jack
letters?
the Ripper? Yeah, they sent a letter.
Well, a bunch.
and
This is actually a very common thing. Jack the Ripper did it.
No, but-
BTK did it.
Yeah, but someone like read it to like the person's like mother.
Oh, I don't know. What I remember
Remember-
that in Jack the Ripper, the theory was that the husband, the boyfriend of the last murder victim, was reading the stories to his illiterate girlfriend because he was trying to scare her because he was actually committing the murders. That's the one story. Kelly, John Kelly, maybe Mary
Maybe.
Kelly. I'm not sure, but there you go.
That's
I don't
like, so he was just like making up shit that he was reading.
know. Yeah.
That's like when like a kid is like being bad or something, you just read it like, oh yeah, it says Santa ain't gonna fucking come if you don't start acting nice.
Yeah, for real, it is a
Alright?
lot like
That's what
that.
it says on here.
Yeah. The fucking the Easter Bunny's not gonna bring you fucking eggs unless you fucking clean that plate up. It's like good. I've said that. I literally said that
Classic.
several times during Christmas.
a
I'm like,
classic
Santa's not coming if you don't.
Oh, what's
fucking
this
clean
freaking fortune cookie say? Be good.
this- Give me money, ma. That's what it says. It's so weird. It's a new one. All right, but now it's time to get serious because this is, again, this goes back to my theory that he's just writing these letters to be fucked up, and how much of it's true is really up for debate. But what's not up for debate is that he really legitimately killed this little girl. But this is what he told, this is what he sent this letter to her mother.
On Sunday, June the 3rd, 1928, I called you at 406 West 15th Street, brought you pot cheese, strawberries. We had lunch. Grace sat in my lap and kissed me. I made up my mind to eat her on the pretense of taking her to a party. You said yes, she could go. I took her to an empty house in Westchester I'd already picked out. When we got there, I told her to remain outside. She picked wild flowers. I went upstairs and stripped all my clothes off. I knew if I did not, I would get her blood on them. When all was ready, I went to the window and called her. Then I hid in a closet until she was in the room. When she saw me all naked, she began to cry and tried to run downstairs. I grabbed her and she said she would tell her mama. First I stripped her naked. How she did kick, bite, and scratch. I choked her to death, then cut her in small pieces so I could take my meat to my rooms, cook, and eat it. How sweet and tender her little ass was roasted in the oven. It took me 9 days to eat her entire body. I did not fuck her though. I could have had I wished. She died a virgin.
Oh my god.
He just throws in the most fucked up things right at the very end for no reason.
Oh.
Oh. Now
Donnie, this
imagine
is the
now-
one I was thinking of. You
now-
had me read this before.
Yeah, now imagine because this is like a famous letter in true crime. Like if you know anything about serial killers and murder and shit like this, you've heard this before because this is like the thing that every single serial killer book or thing like this, it sources stuff like this letter. And it's this one to me feels more real than the other letter about the Gaffney boy, about being like cutting them up and cooking them and stuff like this. I mean, maybe he did cook these children. Maybe he did. I'm not sure, but it just this is so fucked. It makes me so angry, like shaking, literally shaking angry as a parent. The idea of letting the kid go, and this motherfucker taking this little girl from her family, knowing he's doing that and fucking killing this child. It's just like you have to be very fucked up mentally to do that. So there's no question about that. It's just, do you know right from wrong? And someone who does this and goes to lengths to hide it, obviously he knew right from wrong.
You have to be fucked up to write the words, I made up my mind to eat her.
Yeah. and send it to the mom. He sent this to the mother. And here's, to me, there's two sides to this coin. The first side is he's a pervert who loves writing fucked up letters to get fucked up reactions from the people. This is obviously going to get a really fucking fucked up reaction from her mom. But on the other side, it's true that at this time there were a lot of people sending fake letters to the Budd family, and they were dragged through the mud every direction about what was happening. She believed her kid was alive, and then eventually she started believing that her kid had died, but people would send her letters and she'd have hope again, and they'd say they have evidence, and none of it came to fruition. And this was all well publicized in the world of New York at the time. Part of me is like, this is so honest and on the nose of what he did, probably. Maybe he was just like, you know what? This is what actually happened. By saying the things in the beginning about the pot cheese and the strawberries, those were details that they knew. That's how the cops knew this was real. Because that's not details that they had even mentioned to the cops at that point. What he brought there. He's like, they just said he brought us food. But he knew the exact food contents. And pot cheese and strawberries is really weird. So he knew.
Yeah, that is really weird.
But he knew, and he said they were from his farm. But he bought them on the way over. But that's what I'm saying.
I baked this freaking pie all by myself.
I always think of basketball when he's got pretzels and mustard packets from the fucking from the arena, and he walks over and he's like, "I baked this for you," and he's like, "I also made you this mustard." It's just like, that's how I feel with it.
When did he write this letter?
He wrote this letter in 1935. This is what got him caught. This letter is what got him caught.
Yeah, why would he do that?
But then
he couldn't stop himself. He was addicted to the writing of letters.
But then he wrote the other letter that we read in part 1, right?
Yeah, he wrote that to his
right.
lawyer.
So that's the evolution from this letter, though.
Well, because to me, I feel like this letter was him trying to be honest.
I think that's just he's now being more honest in that second letter. Hey, here's even more of what I did, because he talks about cooking here.
Yeah,
and then he's going to explain later in another letter of, hey, here's actually what I actually cooked.
Or he got so much positive reinforcement from the authorities from the letter about, like, yeah, this is what we want from you, that he's like, oh, I'll spice the next one up. They want to see fucked up? Wait till you see what I got for you. Like, how much of this is a game to him and how much is real is very much up for debate. But let's go.
While police believe this account was close, there were a few details he ignored, including cutting her head off over a 5-gallon bucket and trying to drink the blood, as well as taking her body and dumping it behind the house. He told police he built the body as it would have been in life, and left it there until police found it following his confession.
Oh my god. That's so fucked up. I feel like him with all the fucking shit in my taint. I'm constantly adjusting in this fucking seat, just like, oh my god. It's like, doesn't get better. You think it's gonna get better? It never gets better.
By eating the body and drinking the blood, Fish viewed the murder as a ritualistic form of communion that would absolve him of his sins.
And he truly believed that. Yeah, he truly believed that because that's religious mania. We were looking at a previous episode about what it's called. It's religious mania. That is the act of a killer killing on behalf of God for almost to become a martyr. And it's fucked up.
This is where we introduce a true good guy in the story, Detective William King.
Thank God. We got a fucking... Thank you. Hero. Thank you, motherfuckers. Because now I got somebody I can root for in this fucking story. Because honestly, right now, the Fish family, Edward got Albert Fish there, and the mom and dad let fucking Grace leave. Like, they're all fucked up. They're all fucked up in my mind. I'm mad.
King was assigned to the case in 1928 and worked tirelessly to capture the murderer for 6 years.
Yeah, this dude's story is incredible. Thank you for not pointing out my error.
No problem.
This dude's story is genuinely incredible. He was assigned this case. It went cold. And then every letter that was sent to the Budd family, he investigated. They said he logged, and this is 1928 to 1935, he logged like 150,000 miles tracking on this case. It's fucking crazy. In those times, he was on a bike. He's on the big, you know, bike, the big front wheel and little back wheel. He's on one of those bikes going around, dude.
King was actually the one who came up with the idea to print a random picture in the newspapers of a girl who would be around Grace's age and say she was still alive. His hope was the killer would come out of hiding and get caught. Fish fell into his trap.
Yeah, that is that picture is what
got him.
Remember I said to you he was obsessed with newspapers and he'd clip out all those fucking things about like the sex rape and all that kind of shit. Well, guess what? He saw this and he's like, "Nuh-uh."
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
She's totally dead.
Yeah. See,
fucking
now we're
brilliant.
turning. See, this is where the story turns, BG. You have to go down his fucking life. You have to see how fucking horrible this rat can fucking get, and then you watch him fucking fuck himself over and then die in the trap like a piece of shit.
After going through hundreds of hoax letters, all three families experienced the same horrible treatment. King took this letter very seriously due to details which had not been released by police and the handwriting matching the original letter from Fish.
Now the Budd family had the original letter that Albert had sent them saying like, oh, I won't be there until like next Saturday. I got business in New Jersey. But he signed it Howard. What was his name? Frank
Hamilton.
Howard. Right? That was his name, Frank Howard, is what he said
Oh,
it
yeah.
was. So he signed it like that. So they had that letter. They just didn't know who Frank Howard was. So when they got this letter from this anonymous source, they matched the handwriting, and he's like, holy shit, this is the same guy. I got him. But there's no fucking return address. How does he find him?
Well, while the letter itself provided no way back to the sender, the envelope had a small hexagonal emblem with the letters NYPCBA, representing New York Private Chauffeurs Benevolent Association.
I have no idea. Still, after all the research I
Polishing a
did.
turd with that name.
Yeah, whatever. Yo, we're a bunch of fucking guys, all right? We're just fucking bored. We're looking for some shit to do. Let's get out there and just be like fucking private chauffeurs benevolent. Yeah, you know what any of those words mean? No. Fucking sounds good, though, with a new NYPCBA.
It's way too long of an acronym.
For real.
Will never work.
It's NIPKBA. I'm a founding member of NIPKBA and always will be.
The emblem eventually led King to a boarding house where the landlord said a man matching Fish's description had been staying.
So in actuality, what actually happened was it led him to this place where he found out that they had just fired a younger guy, right? He goes and asks that guy, he's like, what the fuck? What? They asked me to come to you. And he's like, you know what? I did steal a bunch of envelopes, but I fucking actually left them at this boarding house. King takes that, goes to the boarding house. The lady's like, oh yeah, guy who matches the description of Frank Howard. He actually was just staying here, but he just left. And he's like, fuck, I made it. He's always right on his tail. But
like
this
a
is
movie.
yes, but watch, keep watching, BG.
Unfortunately, he had just moved out, but he was due back soon to pick up a check from his son. As a side note, he blamed his son for getting him caught because he was sending his checks to his dad.
How ungrateful can you fucking be? This is, you know what? There's a lot of sociopathic traits of Albert Fish too.
Oh,
This
you
is
think?
how
So
he had all
cares
that
about
money.
himself.
Now it makes sense.
Yeah, that's why he has so many kids.
It's
No,
true.
he didn't mean. They just didn't have condoms back then.
He put them to work.
They literally had no idea how to pull out. I don't know what. I don't think people knew how to pull out until like 1981.
Even then, it's been shaky.
Yeah,
ever
for
since.
real. Please, if you're in there, pull out.
No one's mastered
Unless
it.
you're in there for a reason to do so, pull out. Shoot it on
FYI.
the curtains.
Wear a condom.
I'm about to shoot.
The envelope was actually left in the room Fish moved into, and he saw them hidden away only when he tried to kill a roach.
So a roach helped catch the human version of a roach, which is fucking fitting. I fucking love that. But yeah, so the guy
It's an
who
insult
stole
to
him.
roaches.
So the guy who he found at the Chauffeurs Benevolency Association or whatever, he fucking said, he's like, I left them there. And so he goes there, he goes to the room, it's like, oh, he was staying, Albert Fish was staying in that room. He saw, at the time, he took that fucking letter from the side, that envelope, and he sent it. And that's how he got himself caught.
When Fish arrived at the boarding house, the landlord called the police, and King arrived to find him sitting in a chair drinking tea. What? You're just there to pick up your fucking check. What
Yeah,
are you
she
down for?
said, I actually gave it to somebody else. He's got to come down from upstairs with all the mail. So she sat him down, and then the cops fucking floored it over there.
Fish pulled a knife, and King wrestled him to the ground before taking him into custody. That was the last day Fish spent as a free man.
Ow!
Fucking
Ow!
loser. Couldn't even beat him with a knife.
Yeah, fucking honestly, dude, this is just, and you know what? He had a gun, but he said he's like, I spent 6 years. And just imagine that scene from a movie. He's sitting there and he looks up, and the cop is just wild-eyed as fuck. Like, this is the guy I've been looking for 6 fucking years. And he said to him, he's like, are you Albert Fish? And he stands up, and he fucking knew right away that he was a cop. And he just fucking takes out his little, he goes in like reach for where you would put a pocket watch at the time, and he pulls out the knife. And
Johnny Switchblade over here.
the best part is the cop has a gun, he could just easily shoot him, and he's like, I'm doing this with my hands. He just attacked him with his hands. And he beat the fuck out of him, dude.
During the early portions of the case, police were stunned to find Fish was actually arrested in May 1930 and 1931 for sending obscene letters and was sent to the Bellevue Psychiatric Hospital for observation.
So this fucking murder molester, was in custody at least
Everyone
twice.
always
Yeah,
is in
well,
custody, and
how
then
did
they
they
let him
fucking
go.
get
Yeah, that's another common thread you're seeing in all these cases.
Terrible. When King asked Fish if he had ever returned to Wisteria Cottage after the murder of Bud, he admitted to making his son drive him there, but never could bring himself to go look at her body.
Oh my God! Imagine
What the
being
fuck would his son think?
I don't know. He's just like, I want to go see where I used to live, Junior. Let me go see. Oh my God! I'm about to shoot. Yo, I'm about to shoot. Oh, I'm about to shoot.
I'm gonna shoot!
I'm gonna shoot. Yeah, I don't know. Italians can't say that very well. I don't know.
I'm gonna freaking shoot! Police brought the Bud family to the police station, and Edward tried to attack Fish. As for the father, he simply said, "You're the man who came to my home as a guest and took my little girl away."
And dude, instead of attacking him, he just stood up, said that, and turned away, and just started crying as he walked away from him. And just like, at that point, he just had no heart left to even fight the dude. He's just like, you won, you beat me. It's just so fucking sad. Like, and you know what? You in life, you want to be Edward, but a lot of us are going to be the
Fuck
dad.
that.
I would fucking kill him. I would have jumped across the table and
Yeah.
killed him. I'd be like, here's my life savings, officer. 5 minutes alone is all I need.
Yeah.
And just come in, I bit his throat, and I'm just just chewing on his throat like, what's the matter for you? I'm like him when he was in the woods. What's the matter for you? Get out of here! Huh? He was talking in some strange tongue. It sounded like Italian.
The world finds out about Albert Fish.
Okay, so 1930s, the newspapers were crazy because of the Depression. It was very sensational. It was a wild time in the United States, and this became one of the, again, like I said, so it's one of the biggest stories of the 1900s. It gets forgotten nowadays because, even the people who were alive then are now dying off. So the people who are old enough to remember have been long gone. But it was one of the most sensational stories ever in the United States.
On March 11th, 1935, in White Plains, New York, Fish went on trial for the kidnapping and murder of Grace Budd. Fish was defended by former Peekskill Mayor James Dempsey and prosecuted by Westchester County Chief Assistant District Attorney Albert F. Gallagher. Judge Frederick P. Close presided over the case.
So these were like the top, like some of it was the best judge, and New York at the time, again,
It was an all-star game.
It really was. They brought out everybody, and the defense attorney, he was brought into it. Like they weren't fucking around with this.
It's important to remember that this was a time in American history where kidnapping was common due to the hard economic times, most notably the Lindbergh kidnapping and the Leopold and Loeb case.
Oh my
It was
God.
dubbed...
Do you know anything about Leopold and Loeb?
No, I know about the Lindbergh situation, though.
Yes, right? But Leopold and Loeb were essentially two rich-ass, 20-year-old dudes who were like, I bet you if we killed a person, we could get away with it because we're rich.
Oh, yeah.
So they literally killed the dude.
So they're like
and
the
they
Menendez brothers.
Yes, they're a lot like
the...
they're like the original Menendez brothers, yes.
It was dubbed the Snatch Racket.
Yeah, I did that on purpose because that's a whole different game you can play nowadays.
And the Fish story became front-page news around the world.
Okay, I want to play some Snatch Racket tonight.
Nice. The headlines called him the Ogre of Murder Lodge, the Vampire Man, the Orgiastic Fiend,
I like that one. I'm fine with that one.
aged Thrill Killer, Werewolf of Wisteria. One story read, there emerged last night the hint of an even greater horror, a horror of multiple killings, revealing a new type of Jack the Ripper in the guise of a kindly old gentleman.
Oh, it's terrifying, man. It really is.
The 10-day trial was centered around Fish's sanity, the testimony from the psychiatrists called alienists at the time.
They were called the Alienists. There's actually a show nowadays called the Alienists, and it's about psychiatrists at the time were called alienists because many people just didn't trust the field of psychology yet.
I wanted to watch that show.
I never would ever want to watch that show.
Yeah, I mean, I like aliens. Go ahead.
They were summoned to examine Fish, and it was the first time people heard about many of his sexual fetishes, including, but not limited to, Masochism.
Okay,
Flagellation.
masochism. What's flagellation? BG,
I don't know.
Google it.
No, I'm not googling anything.
I don't know
Just
about.
Google it. I don't know what
really-
it is. I think he's getting whipped. I think he's getting smacked, but I want to know for sure.
That's
Like
flogging.
a flogging.
Yeah,
Like a
right?
flaging.
Just Google it. It's not. These are obviously things. It doesn't make. Just don't Google pedophilia. I know what that one is. Don't Google that one. Okay, please. I don't even want that for you. But also, infibulation. Could you Google that one as well?
Exhibitionism.
Okay, it's
Like
having
to
sex
fucking
outside.
corrupt you.
Yeah.
Voyeurism.
Okay, spying on people. Okay, it's getting worse.
Peakerism.
What's that one? Google it.
Piqued my interest. Cannibalism.
I know how-
No,
Well,
Flagellation is flogging or breathing either as a religious discipline or for sexual gratification.
Well, definitely the
second
latter
one.
here. Well,
What was the other one you wanted?
Fine,
Picarism.
picarism. Yeah. And I know
How about
coprophagia. That's
coprophagia?
eating shit, and urophilia is drinking piss. I know,
Urophilia.
because if your dog eats
Pe-
shit, they give you a fucking poop medicine that's called that.
Picarism is a sexual interest in penetrating the skin of another person with sharp objects.
Oh, of
Ew.
course. The needles.
Sometimes this is serious enough to cause extreme injuries or even death.
Oh,
Picarism is a
that's all I needed.
paraphilia as well as a form of sadism.
Okay,
The
yeah.
most frequently target areas of the body are the
I'm done.
breast,
Time
buttocks,
out. I don't need any more.
organs.
Thank you.
In the taint.
And the taint. And what's infibulation? Find that
Yeah.
one out too.
Pedophilia, infibulation.
Pedophilia is the.
No, I'm not looking for that one.
Well, why would you-
Infibulation. That's something with the heart.
No, it's not. That's an
Eating a heart.
infibrillator. No, it's not it either. God damn.
Yep.
BG,
the
look it up.
practice.
Of eating a heart.
What is it?
No, it's the practice of exercising the clitoris and labia of a girl or woman and stitching together the edges of the vulva to prevent sexual intercourse.
Ah! What do you mean he practiced that? What does it mean when it says he practiced that? Well, how is that a fetish? That's just that's fucking. Ugh. Go on.
Yikes.
I'm sorry, BG.
GM. Yeah.
That's on there forever. You
BG?
can't get rid of that.
You're on the list. You just made the list.
During the trial, it was also revealed that mental issues ran in Fish's family, such as his uncle suffering from mania, a brother confined to a state mental hospital.
Hulkamania, brother. He's running wild because he's actually insane. Sounds sad.
A sister diagnosed with a mental affliction.
This is just
Three
what they
addition-
said back then when you were like, when you argued too much as a woman, you're like, no, she's crazy in the brain.
3 additional relatives diagnosed with mental illnesses and his mother's oral and or visual hallucinations.
I know sometimes we do make excuses, but like if his mom was fucking crazy enough to have hallucinations just like normally, probably passed down. It's probably hereditary in a
A
way.
lot of these sounds like the upper body injury of fucking like mental problems. Like they're just throwing like basic terms out there.
Because they didn't know anything at the time. Fucking psychology was like,
He's got a brain thing.
yeah, I think he's got dodo brain. In Arrested Development, no, not Arrested Development. In Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Frank was clinically diagnosed. He has a certificate and everything with donkey brain. I feel it's the same thing. It's like, yeah, you didn't know I had donkey brain. He's like, brought out a certificate, a framed certificate that said he had donkey brain. He's like, why'd you frame that? He's like, I don't know. I never thought about it like that.
Fish's defense team called their chief expert witness, Frederick Wortham, to the stand, where he spent 2 days explaining Fish's obsession with religion and the biblical story of Abraham and Isaac.
Mhm.
Wortham said that sacrificing a boy would be penance for his own sins, and that even if the act itself was wrong, angels would prevent it if God did not approve.
Yeah, we talked about that. That is not
What a
true.
theory.
That's not true. You're wrong. You are wrong, Albert Fish.
Since Grace wasn't a boy, he felt immediate remorse since he couldn't fit the murder into his twisted narrative. Fish often recited this Bible passage. Happy is he that taketh thy little ones and dasheth their heads against the stones.
Okay.
That's a fucked up Bible passage.
I just want to say something. The Bible's fucked up.
Yeah,
If
why
you
is
want-
that in there?
If you want a true, it's probably in Revelations. That whole fucking last chapter of the Bible is fucking insane. In all honesty, this is fucked up. This shouldn't be in the Bible, and you shouldn't worship anything that has this in their Bible.
Well, I'm not going to tell people what to worship, but
I'm not. Yeah, you can do whatever you
That's
want.
pretty fucked
If you want to
up.
support the wrong, you want to be on the wrong side of history, as Corey Graves keeps saying. You're on the wrong side of history. That's all I'm saying. Because I'm not smashing any little one's head. I'm not like even a little fish. I'd be like, oh, it's sad. I don't want to do
yeah, I
that.
would never do that.
Yeah, for real,
Actually,
like-
you've definitely done it before.
Nah, I just cut him open right there, and I can
It's-
eat him up.
Yeah, like your Albert Fish.
No, he would have fucked the fish. He would have cut a hold of it like, ooh yeah, you're Albert. I'm Albert Fish, and I'm in a fish. You get it? You get it? There's a guy across the river like fucking fishing. He's like, do you get it? Yo, you get it, bro? Huh? My name's Fish and I'm fucking a fish. Yeah, you'll get it later.
Put a little fish in the little fish.
Ha
While Fish remained adamant he never raped Grace, he did admit to having 2 involuntary ejaculations. I hate when I have those. Well,
you keep questioning involuntary ejaculation, and I refuse to look it up. I do. I refuse to look it up.
You fucking jerk off without jerking off, which I don't know about that.
You know what? Let's move on.
Yeah.
No. It's really like, because you questioned it during, because Gacy said he had this happen. Several killers have said.
Oh my
the
god, I'm
struggle.
having one. I didn't even.
I think they're just fucking full of shit.
Yeah, I think they mean to be having one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shoot.
I think they just prematurely ejaculated and they're like, oh yeah, have my.
They're embarrassed.
Yeah. I came so
but
quick. It was like I didn't even touch it. It's involuntary.
He had those make believe
Mind of its own.
involuntary.
Did you hear the involuntarily celibate people? The guys who are like, they call themselves, they call them incels.
They'd rather not be celibate, but they just are.
Because women are bitches. It's a
Oh.
bunch of those guys. Like, women don't deserve me, but they also don't love me either, and I'm involuntary celibate. Blah, 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 blah.
Well, he had involuntary ejaculations while kneeling on her chest and strangling her.
Oh,
This
my
information was used at the trial to claim the kidnapping was sexually motivated, thus avoiding any mention of cannibalism.
Yeah, that's how they got around it.
Well, they probably should have mentioned that.
Yeah, you'd think.
Hmm.
Honestly, if you're even Albert Fish, I'd be like, no, mention the cannibalism. That makes me seem crazier.
Yeah, seriously. Whatever.
But I think the prosecution got it held out. I think they fought to keep that out so he couldn't use that as a way to convict him. They just wanted him to be convicted. You know what I mean?
Let's meet Helen Carlson.
Okay. Hello, Helen.
She rented a room to Fish and his 2 sons in 1927. In addition to grooming her young son to be molested, Fish also wrote dirty letters to her and was kicked out of the house as a result.
So this is the kind of, now that he's in the court, and we're learning a lot about Albert Fish, and this is one of the witnesses that had never been brought up before, and this is where you find out a little bit about her.
According to court documents, Carlson found a little mess in Fish's room after he left. You know what? I think it's time for Attention Horse Theater.
Again? Let's do this shit. BG, you're Dempsey again.
What do you mean by a little mess?
I don't know. Like to say just what it was. He just made some dirt and left it behind the door.
Can you say what kind of dirt it was?
Human dirt.
Number 2?
Yes.
Human dirt.
Just fucking
Dirt.
How many times do I have to hear the words number 2 in this fucking episode before we get like, this is unreal childlike
Who
shit.
calls shit dirt?
This was in Kurt. This was in fucking
In Kurt.
court, dude. It was in
It was
Kurt.
in Kurt.
Do it in Kurt. This was a court. This is a fucking prosecutor. Like, excuse me. Actually, this
I
is
don't
the
like to
defense. This
say.
is the defense attorney. Excuse me. Was it number 2? Cool. Is that okay?
What did you do? No, I don't want to say.
Yeah, exactly. Unbelievable.
An unidentified minor came forward during the trial and said he had gone with Fish to Wisteria Cottage and was waiting outside when a man told him to run away while he still could.
As crazy as this fucking story is, dude, that's straight out of horror movie shit right there.
It was God.
Fish corroborated the story. No, he said it was actually a black dude. He said a black dude was walking by. He's like, don't go near that place. Fucking, he's gonna kill you and shit. And then
How would he
Wow.
know? If he knew, then why didn't he tell somebody?
I don't know.
He
That's
just probably figured, hey, that's a fucking creepy place. Don't
Yeah.
fucking go there.
yeah. He was like, he was waiting outside of it. And this is like a little ass kid, like fucking 6 years old at the
Yeah.
time.
Don't go down that road.
Yeah, he's like, don't go down that road. And you know what? He was right. He was right.
Good call.
Thank you, sir.
Should've
When
listened to
people
this
tell
guy
you
more.
not to go down somewhere or in somewhere, listen.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, unless they look like a piece of shit, then fuck them.
Looks to be deceiving though, so I don't
Yeah,
know.
I look at you and I'm like, man, that guy looks like a pear. And I see it and I'm like, it's even worse now. Go ahead.
That's weird. Wortham and 2 additional psychiatrists supported the insane diagnosis, and prosecutors called 4 medical professionals to the stand that testified Fish was abnormal but sane.
Okay, so in my head, I when you said that, it's like all I saw was like Wortham being like, he's insane in the membrane, and the other doctor's like, insane in the brain, right in the background saying it. It's just a Cypress Hill video, dude. I'm down with that.
He's abnormal.
Abby normal, yes.
Fish told Wortham,
That would
I
be
always
normal.
had a desire to inflict pain on others and to have others inflict pain on me.
Yeah, that's his truth. So that's not. I mean, I get. Listen, if it's consensual, fine. But
It wasn't.
yeah, it was not at all. None of this is consensual, and there's no such thing as consensual pedophilia. You fucking monster.
Wortham said of Fish, I can tell you that, to the best of my medical knowledge, every sexual abnormality that I've ever heard of, this man has practiced. Not only has he thought about it, not only has he daydreamed about it, but he has practiced it.
Oh my god, dude. Like when you're fucking up, seasoned psychiatrists with your fucking life, like you know you're fucking ruined as a person. When this dude, all he does is talk to the criminally insane, and he sits back in his chair and he's like, oh my fucking god, this guy, holy shit, fucking, it's like one thing after the other. It's like, you ate the rose? Gee, it was in where? Oh my god, I gotta go. I'm gonna smoke. Oh, I can do it right here. It's 1920s. I don't care about secondhand
Nice.
smoke even a little bit.
One of them cigarette
But-
machines.
You
Honestly, I
didn't do
remember
something.
at the old there's an old post office by me, and when you go in, on the walls there are old cigar choppers. Like people waiting in line could just cut their cigars on the cigar chopper on the wall.
Nice.
Did he do stuff with animals?
I don't know what that question means. What are you
Well,
talking
it
about?
says.
I think he's asking if he fucked stuffed animals.
Yeah, no, not stuffed animals.
I don't know why.
Real animals, because it says here from what Worden
bestiality.
said. Yeah,
Okay, I think there was some inference. There's no direct confirmation, but there was
because
some
the only
inference that he
story we have was that we spoke about in part 1 was the horse.
Yes, but he
He didn't fuck it, though.
no,
Right,
he
that's what I
let
was
it fuck him.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Fish said he often gagged his victims, but preferred to hear them scream when possible.
Oh my god, that line just fucking like made my blood. I've got literal goosebumps right now because of that fucking line.
Many of the jurors said Fish was insane, but believed he should be executed anyway.
Oh yeah.
Good call. As a result, Fish was found guilty and sentenced to death in the electric chair. He was executed on January 16, 1936, and despite rumors that he short-circuited the chair with his taint needles, all reports claim it went swimmingly.
It did. It was a swimming execution, and the taint needles were not a problem.
They applauded afterwards.
They did. They're like, wow,
Good execution,
good job,
good
everybody.
execution.
Shake it all around.
The guy took a bow.
It's the
Get some birds.
executioner. He pulls
Yeah.
off his hood and shit. He's like, ta-da!
The papers quoted Fish after the sentencing, where he reportedly said, "What a thrill it will! What a freaking thrill it'll be to die in the electric chair! It'll be supreme thrill, the only one I haven't tried, bro."
What a piece of shit. Honestly, what a piece of shit.
Side note, Fish reportedly napped during parts of the trial and couldn't look more bored. That is until the closing statements when his lawyer called him a poor old man and Fish began to cry for himself.
That's the only time he
What a
cried
fucking
during the only time he cried during the entire trial, they said, was when his one daughter came to the stand and was talking about their relationship. Not anything that he did or anything like that. Their relationship and how much she loved him, and he cried then. And the only other time he cried was when he was basically saying, like, you're going to put this man to death, and Fish started crying, realizing he might be put to death.
During his time in prison, the religious Fish would jerk off during Catholic Mass, and guards would have to beat him into submission.
I mean, he loved it. He fucking loved it. He's
Wait,
like,
so
"Yeah,
he got
beat me."
off the religion?
Oh, he got off to religion and getting the shit
Nice.
kicked out of him. So he's like,
Nice.
he's like 2 for 1. It's like a 2 for 1 sale. It's BOGO. Buy one, get one.
Officers had to remove every bone from the meat they served him in prison, as he would sharpen them on the ground and begin slashing at his chest and belly.
And people, and the
It's
the reporters would say, oh, he's trying to kill himself, but the fucking people knew different. He just liked fucking himself up because he got off sexually to it.
After Fish died, his lawyer said the old pervert left him several pages of handwritten notes that Dempsey refused to share, telling reporters, "I will never show it to anyone. It was the most filthy string of obscenities that I've ever read."
I want to read it so bad. I honestly really
I'd
do.
like to have a look.
I would just look it over and be like, my God, flip the page. Oh, this is the worst thing I've read. Flip the page. Oh my God. Ooh. You want it? You want some too?
Yikes. And a truly disgusting display by the press. They showed up at the door of the Bud family.
Oh, well,
the
you're
night-
proving something's never changed. The fucking press is all fucked up right now. I know we're part of it, but I'm not the fucking problem. And some of the things I'm
You
seeing
are
is
part of the
shit.
problem.
Some of the things I see in the press nowadays, it's fucking hack ass work. We fight against some of the things the press do in wrestling on the Ring Rust Radio side all the time.
Well, they showed up at the door of the Bud family the night Fish was executed and asked for a comment. Delia slammed the door in their fucking faces.
Yes, that is how you
Delia.
fucking do it, dude. She fucking was actually destroyed by this entire thing. Like she didn't even really cry during most of the trial and shit. She just sat there like vacant, like just staring, like there was nothing left. Like they had killed her inside. She was just dead. It was so fucked up.
For some reason, we have a random fact.
Because this was from the book, and you're BG, you're from New York, and this is all about New York. And this was one of the headline stories in the New York newspaper when Fish was being, when some of his stories were coming out.
Madison Square Garden architect Stanford White was murdered on top of the building.
Yeah, he was on top of the building showing it to a friend, but he was actually there because the friend asked him to go up there and show him, because he was fucking his wife, and he shot him to death on the roof of his own building.
Maybe that's why the Knicks and Rangers fucking suck now. It's like a curse. Yep.
From the 30s, they won since then.
Yeah. Well, it was like a delayed curse.
Not enough.
Not enough. Fuck you.
No.
Such a fucking asshole. But yeah, so that's, and you know what, guys? That's the end of Albert Fish. Oh, I feel dirty. I feel like, you know the lady who was having sex with the goat and Aleister Crowley, and they're like, I would have a bath. I would have a bath after this fucking episode, man. This is a lot. This is a very, very heavy episodes. And, you know, it's a lot of number 2 talk, a lot of Sweet Hot Peanut Butter. There's a lot of the Dukes. And also, I just want to send this out to everybody. If you're a parent, you know, just don't let your kid go with random strangers. I don't know. I'd start there. You know what I mean?
Get a leash.
Honestly, get a leash, strap them to your pant, like the buckle part. You know what I mean? Where your belt loop. BG, you didn't know much about Albert Fish besides me
No.
calling Mike Albert Fish as a joke.
Yeah, man, that's pretty wild
fucked
that you did that.
Yeah.
Right?
Why'd you do that?
In hindsight.
Yeah, in hindsight, but he was
fucked up,
he was talking about cut your dick so much it was alarming. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you should stop doing that on Ring Rust Radio.
I'm gonna. I don't think
I'm not gonna do
Because
that.
here's the thing, I didn't dive this deep into it until this point. I just read some.
It's
I
too
read a
over with
wiki.
the
I
fans. I can't
remembered-
stop now.
I vaguely remember that letter that you had me read when
Yeah.
you were doing this research. And that's heavy shit.
Yeah, it's all really heavy shit. But you know what? The
What a
best
piece
part
of
is
shit.
he got
It's
fucking
always-
caught. He almost went his whole life without ever getting caught. Imagine how many people have gone their whole
So
life without ever
insane.
getting caught. But he
It's just-
was a hard ass and had to send the letter. He got himself caught.
It's always wild going to like the wiki pages and seeing the actual pictures of these people.
Yeah, like you see his face. He looks like,
Like-
just a normal
Looks
old man.
how you would think
Yeah,
he would
that-
look,
And
actually.
he looks pretty fucking, I
Yeah.
don't know, fucked up.
To me, he just looks like a weird bent old man. You'd see it like a fucking
Yeah,
in
but
a
it looks like
park.
someone that like I would not trust or like would want to stay away from.
No, of course I would never let him fucking take my kid to his niece's
Right.
party.
With his fucking dumb hat.
I almost did when
What
he
is
fucking
pinky
showed me
ring?
that ring. Oh shit! Oh, is that real diamonds on? Shining bright like a diamond. But yeah, that's it. So
Don't
BG,
ruin Rihanna.
BG, that's what she was singing about. Was Albert Fish's
Oh,
pinky ring.
really?
Pinky ring.
You
Yeah.
you cracked the code.
I cracked the code. Albert Fish is shining bright like a diamond. That's what it
I
was.
hate you so much. You're an asshole.
Rihanna's
That's
somewhere
such a
like,
good
can we
song,
sue
too.
him? Can we fucking sue him? It's satire.
hope
We're
they sue
jokes.
you.
It's comedy. It's a joke. You can't do that.
That's alright.
There's some sort of comedy amendment. I'm positive of it. Mike Chiari, you read
Yeah.
ahead a lot of this, and you know a lot about Albert Fish.
So
Sure do now.
are there any like documentaries with his like words in it, like from him specifically?
No,
Did they have that? They even had that technology. They
not
had
that I
technology
saw. Not that I saw. I don't know. That's why I just said it was. It all sounds like New York in my head because it's all taking place in New York. So I just gave everybody a New York accent. So did Mike.
Had to be done.
It did. Mike, thoughts on all this?
Really fucked up.
What's worse, this or Aleister Crowley?
This. 'Cause, I mean,
told you it would be.
this is definitely worse. He was horrible, but he didn't really kill too many people or any that I know of.
He killed the Indian guy when he was getting robbed.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know.
Are you saying
He
like,
didn't-
every once in a
He
while you
didn't
gotta
molest
kill-
and eat
kill-
children.
No, he didn't. You're right about that, though. Yeah, this was fucking rough. This was really rough.
Hmm.
Are you okay? Are you both okay? I feel like there's a lot of like hard feelings going around.
I'm
the table.
on his wiki about the known and suspected victims.
Yeah.
Bill Gaffney's age 4.
Well, no, he admitted to Gaffney. That's the Gaffney boy in Rikers.
Right.
That's what he's talking about.
4 years old.
Yeah, he was 4 years old. That's the That's what I'm saying.
Suspected ones at 5 and 6. It's
Well,
like,
honestly though, they were pretty much. They say the suspected ones. They were interviewed for those other ones, but he didn't do that. He's like, I didn't do those ones.
oh, so we believe him?
We believe him. He
But
didn't do it.
but the police came in and pretty much said he wasn't in. The lines didn't match up in those cases. He could be suspected of, but you know what? Fucking Dahmer was suspected of killing John Walsh's kid. Didn't happen. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just throw a bunch of fucking spaghetti at the wall and you see what slides down to your hardwood floor. That's what the saying is, right?
Wiki has an X-ray of his pelvis.
Oh my god!
No.
Why did you do this now? Why did you decide to do this now?
Because we're done.
Go to crime scene photos while you're doing this. At
No.
Attention Horror on Twitter. Don't ask me why.
Get it right.
At Donald_Wood. At Mike Chiari. At BGNY3. Guys, iTunes, Google Play, Spreaker, Spotify, Stitcher. Now, iHeartRadio as well. Please give us a 5-star rating and review. We need it. Whatever podcast platform you're on, 5 stars and a good review helps us climb up, helps us get to more listeners, and when we do that, we can produce more content and do more of this, because this is a labor of love. But one day maybe we'll make some cash off of it. Woo woo. Huge shout out to our executive producers, including graphic designer Daniel Hayden, director of music Eliza Easy B. Percasio, and research assistant Laurent Mondon. Guys, this was part 2 of our in-depth series on the Werewolf of Wisteria. Albert Fish, Wisteria. Wow, how do you say that, BG?
What?
How do you say Wisteria?
Wisteria.
I don't know. That sounds right.
Worcester.
Can you stop? You're like, I'm pretty sure you can see Wisteria fucking Cottage from your house, dude. Don't even try this shit.
He grew up there.
I'm so sorry. Next month it gets better though, as we jump into the world of ghosts. We're gonna break down the signs and techniques of ghost hunting. We're gonna talk about some spooky and some sexy ghost stories, and we're gonna get into it. This is also gonna lead into a series of ghost episodes that we'll do in the future of hauntings, like the Amityville Horror and stuff like that, which I'm really into as well.
Will Casper be discussed?
You can
Because I really like him.
You can mention him. I'm sure you do look like he did look like a big fucking glob of semen in retrospect.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
He's
And you're
adorable.
like, I like him.
Casper's the gloves.
Something,
He was fucking adorable.
Something
I can
about
see that.
Casper I just like. I don't know what it is. He's like a big old huggable starch pie. But guys, Mike, you're gonna come back for ghosts, right?
Yeah, I'll be back.
I got possessed right there.
I'm gonna
I'm gonna shoot. You know what that means? It means we are here to stay.